Oh my gosh, that was a fast intro. Shoot, I could barely
You
even
were
see
busy.
camera. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How is
Mm,
everybody? Hey, BGH. Hey, Jennifer Nobles. Yes, I received your email, and we are going to discuss her at the end of this live. Hey, Lynn, Purple Faith. Hey, GB. Is everybody ready for Thanksgiving? Hang on one second. My chihuahua's telling me that her legs are broken. I'll be right back, guys. Hang on.
I'm not ready. How's everyone doing? Are y'all ready to cook or have you been cooking? What's your specialty?
All right. Sorry about that. Hey, Jen B. Hey, Samara. Hey, Cat Eyes. I was late because I was on the phone with Mr. X.
Mr. X, the Mr. X.
Yeah, the Mr. X, the one from Jim Terry
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's doing good. He might stop by if he gets a second wind and come say hi and hang out for a few. Jen
Okay,
B
that's
says
good.
she's sick with pneumonia and the flu. Oh, I'm sorry, Jen B.
Mm,
I usually
healing
make
vibes.
a green bean casserole. I'm only kidding, Jen B, but that's the one thing that I'm like, ah. I think it's because I don't like mushrooms.
I don't. I've never made it, but I'm gonna be making it later on
Hey,
tonight.
Kaz. Kaz, it was your fault because you had me on the phone before I called Mr. X.
Bad influence. Hi,
Right?
Kaz. Do they celebrate Thanksgiving in Australia?
I know in Canada they do in October, but I'm not sure if they celebrate. I mean, they have to have Thanksgiving in Australia, right?
I don't know because I know they don't have it in Mexico.
What do you know about Mexico?
Mexico lindo.
Kaz said no Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, we're thankful. I'm thankful for Kaz and Mar.
Me too. Okay. Kaz, if you're up there and you want to pop up. All right, let me get my note card open for tonight. Okay. Trying to think what I want to start with. I think I'm going to save the sad news for the end.
Oh, no
Um,
more sad news.
let's go ahead and start with this fast video on Leilani
Okay.
and what happened today at her bond hearing. My data is just about to run out. Aw, Kaz, okay. I honestly didn't think that she was actually going to post bond, but
Well, the police officer, the sheriff said that he was not going to let her be out for Thanksgiving. More or less is what he said.
hang on, guys. Chisme wants to talk.
I'm done.
Go ahead, babe. What'd you say? No, no, no. You got to say it now. The what
I forgot what I
officer?
said. Yeah, the at the press conference he said that something about that her not him not wanting her to be out for Thanksgiving. And I think
Well,
they
not. Oh, they said that she wanted to be in jail for Thanksgiving.
no, that he wants her to be in jail for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I don't think that. I think that her last Chinese buffet meal, honestly, I think that was more than enough, and I hope it gave her the poops
Yep.
because I know that I had Chinese buffet again, and I would never eat that again. Okay, look, this is a very short video. Oh, Jennifer's got a sister, Purple Faith. Okay, I actually think that he's kind of hubba hubba. Okay, here we go.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Judge.
All right, make sure my phone is over here. Interrupts with these. A lot of microphones up here. Madam Clerk, we're going to call the first case. I don't need to read through the appearance
Hey,
information. So I'm
Amanda.
going to deal with that case first. If you want to call that case.
Leilani Simon.
And for the record, this is Chatham County Recorder's Court. I'm trying to adjust all the microphones and stuff up here. Chatham County Recorder's Court, Joe Huffman, Judge Pro Tem at the moment, standing in for Chief Judge Tammy Stokes. We're here in the matter of State versus Leilani Simon, CRN 221005004. Ms. Moorhead, are you representing the state in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on behalf of Ms. Simon?
Attorney June Vogel with the Public Defender's Office. I represent Ms. Simon.
Good morning, counsel. So I see that Ms. Simon is not present on the screen.
Why are they
Are you waiving
dressed
her
like
presence
that?
today?
Presence of formal reading of the charges, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'll wait. Well, formal reading of the charges. She is here charged before this court with murder, false report of a crime, false statements, and concealing the death of another. We currently have a court date set before this court on January 11th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Ms. Vogel, are you going to be representing Ms. Simon going forward? Is that your understanding?
Public Defender's Office, Your Honor.
Okay.
Also, I understand that by statute, this court does not have jurisdiction to entertain a bond pursuant to 1761.
Yes, OCGA 1761. This court is not authorized to consider the issue of bond for charges, certain enumerated charges, murder being one of them. So you, on behalf of your client, may petition to Superior Court of Chatham County for consideration of bond. This court will not consider bond, don't have the jurisdiction or authority to do so. But I will put down that there's a court hearing set for enter a plea of not guilty to the charges. Correct?
That's correct.
Court hearing January 11th, 2023 at 2 p.m. with those charges indicated. Have you advised Ms. Simon of all the rights that she has pertaining to arraignment?
We've had an in-depth discussion, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Moorhead, anything else I need to consider on this matter?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So bond will be, technically bond is denied because I can't consider it, but is there anything else, Ms. Moorhead or Ms. Vogel, I need to consider before moving on?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
The way
So,
he
ladies and
said
gentlemen,
that.
I literally just came out of here and sat on the bench, but I'm going to take a 7 minutes and 20-second break to allow those individuals who do not wish to remain. Now's the time to pack up and leave so I can proceed with the rest of the docket. Thank you.
Thank you. Court is adjourned.
Want to grow your
I can't believe the way they were dressed. She had a flannel shirt on, and that one
Well,
looked like she had some yoga pants on.
yeah, I saw that. But I think it's one of those old-fashioned suits, the one with the plaid. That's what I thought at first.
Yeah, but even the ones in the oh, who cares what they were wearing? I never thought that she was going to get bond.
Nope.
Did
And then I
any
think
did
they did that on purpose, putting that docket on the wrong jurisdiction, so he
you
wouldn't be
think
able to.
so?
I'm
You
just
think that's
guessing.
why they put you think that's why they put the docket in the wrong jurisdiction?
Yes.
I don't think she would have gotten bond. I think that she was an absolute flight risk. I think she would have tried to run and hide.
Well, she's gonna eat turkey bologna
Yes,
for
Jen
Thanksgiving.
B. That was her attorney with the
Yeah.
plaid and the hair up. Hey, Gen X. Crazy.
And they knew about it, I guess, didn't they? Or was it just no, I hadn't heard about them planning on having it today.
All right, Kaz. We love you. Have a good day babysitting the baby puppies. She's babysitting fur
Oh,
babies.
that's right. Bye-bye,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, we love Kaz here. If she ever tries to leave, guys, we're just gonna duct tape her to a wall.
I'll go get her. I'll go search for her.
Right, Gen B? I wonder why she was not at the courthouse though.
Yeah, she didn't go. Chicken
But
shit.
why? What is she pulling a Letitia evil stealth move?
Yeah, I think they're twins.
Oh. Now I know you guys, a lot of you probably saw this, but I have not seen it. And it's 39 minutes long. I'm going to bump it to 1.25, but it is the press conference on the Idaho 4. Let's go ahead and start this. I'm going to start this, guys, and I've got to use the little girls' room because between Mr. X, Kaz making me late, and Chisme not being able to find herself over here, I'm only kidding.
I can't even find myself over here sometimes.
Ah,
Yeah, like what are they called? Tweed suits? Cat Eye
yeah,
says an old fashioned 70s suit. Yeah.
that reminds me of the visor
I
with
see
the
with
wig bangs.
yeah.
Maybe. But her hair was all casual. Everything about that was casual.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But oh well, court's
Hey,
court. But
Jennifer.
I think it's a disrespect to the court system because, you're supposed to abide by the laws, and I don't know why they wear suits. They used to wear wigs.
Did anybody, before we get into this, I want to ask, I can't think of the name of, I think her name was Emily. Does anyone remember the man that went on trial, Matthew, and he spelled his name Mathue, and his wife Emily was found in Ohio hanging in the bushes like she
Oh
hung
yes.
herself?
Yes.
Did anyone see that trial?
I saw part of it, yes.
His lawyer, because he ended up walking. He got her.
Yeah.
I believe he definitely killed his
Mhm.
wife, but his lawyer was so intense that she got him off. She was amazing. If I ever decide I want to go do a crime, I'm doing a crime in Ohio and I'm going to hire her. I loved his lawyer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it live, and they actually showed the picture of her hanging there. But then when I went back to look at it again, cuz I'm curious, they had deleted it.
Yeah, your morbid curiosity, you little freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen B, she was great, man. When she was getting down on the floor and putting the cord around her neck, and
Yeah.
I mean, everyone came in so confident on the defense side, and she just shut them down. Okay,
Mhm.
let's get into this, Pressy. See, I wait to watch most of it. I skim through it, but then I wait to watch it with you guys so I can have that initial shock.
Yeah, I had to make a video today.
I know. Ah, no.
Want to let you guys know that there will.
Okay.
Very most
Here we
important part of my
go.
job. I just want to let you guys know that there
Hi,
will be a question and
Justice
answer time.
Jane.
We're going to try and extend it today to be a little bit longer, so that way more people have the opportunity to ask questions. We have a gentleman who will be passing around that microphone,
You know
and
what?
he does not know what organization you're from, and so this will.
I'm going to go
So
back to
sure to have
normal
him.
for a
So
minute.
or two, and we'll try and get to as many people as possible. So thank you.
Hey, hey, Diaz girl.
Oh, is this on the 4 girls? The 4 teenagers? Mm.
Good afternoon. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. Joining me today is Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department, Moscow Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer, Colonel Kedrick Wills of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. We are thankful for all the tips and leads the public has provided in Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison's murder investigation. No bit of information is too small, and every tip will be pursued. So far, this information has helped investigators build a picture of the areas of interest and the relationships these 4 had with each other and our community. We still believe there's more information to be gathered, which will continue creating a window through which we view this case. We all want to understand why this happened and what drove someone to do this. The families of those involved and our entire community deserve to know. We ask anyone with any information related to what happened with these 4 who are in our community, their interaction with others, and whether they expressed concern or commented about someone or something strange, to get that information to us. Even if you don't believe it is relevant, investigators will review and determine if and how your information builds the picture. Sometimes what a video or picture doesn't show is equally as important as what might be there. Information on how to submit tips and updates on the investigation can be found on the Moscow Police Department web page. We continue moving forward to understand why this occurred in our community and seek answers to bring justice for the victims and their loved ones, because they deserve it. I personally want you to know we care, and we will continue to work hard to get these answers for these individuals. At this time, I'd like to introduce Captain Roger Lanier for an update
I'm
on
sorry,
what we can currently
Jess.
share about this investigation.
Oh, this is so. I mean, I can't believe they don't have it. Well, but they might have one. I haven't seen the press yet.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department. I want to assure you first off that the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today, I'm going to recap in brief what we know. I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th,
rumors.
Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar
Cheesemas.
and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. 2 surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and the surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were seen.
Okay, that was interesting because the initial report that came out was that a passerby saw one of the girls passed out in the driveway and they called 911. But now he just said the 911 call came from the house from another roommate.
Yeah.
Moscow police officers responded and found 2 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the 2 surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male who Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of
Alex.
November 13th.
Was that his name?
We do not.
I thought his name was
suspect
Frank or something.
What was his name? It started Adam, Alex. It was something where they called him or called or like text like 15 Jack. Thank you guys. Where they called back and I called him Alex last night too, where they called him and text like 15 times or something.
Yeah,
I mean, what
maybe
if this
drugs.
is like a Danny Rollins or Ted Bundy situation, or like that crazy guy that we were talking about the other night that went into the school with all the nurses in Chicago and that one survivor? Like, what if this is a random psychopath? That is scary.
Canvass the
be.
neighborhoods looking for evidence.
I mean, could you imagine? Sure, Jen, I love everyone's theory.
It's going on
I
everywhere.
am cat eyes every night. Purple punch, baby.
I saw one of those knives on that website Wish, where you can buy, stuff.
Oh, we showed that knife last night. We zoomed into
Mm-hmm.
the edge and stuff. That knife is insane.
Yeah.
Mm. So everyone that the sleuths were thinking might have been involved have been cleared. I mean, my gosh, I can't even imagine. I have that Gainesville feeling all over again.
Mm-hmm. Gen B has a theory.
Physical evidence, video
Yeah, I'm going to listen to it.
surveillance, and they've contacted numerous residents to see if anybody may have seen
Yes,
or
Jen.
heard anything. They continue requesting tips. They can be sent to our tip line or called into our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed maps on.
Guys, I'll open the panel after we go through the couple of updates because we only have 2 little short ones after this one, but it's a sad one. But if you guys, anyone that wants to come up is more than welcome to join us.
Purple Passion.
On our city website and our Facebook page, but as stated earlier, generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River
Hey,
Drive,
Raybird.
west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the suspects spoke.
Did you guys catch what he just said? He did not say that we do not have any persons of interest. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Let me go back a little bit.
Put back? Yeah.
Yeah, did you catch that? That was
He said
interesting.
several things, that like trying to avoid the question.
Yeah, that was interesting what he said right there.
We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation,
Somebody goes into this house and there's 4 college kids that he, she, whatever murders. And nobody was tied and bound. He said some of them had defensive wounds. So obviously, you would have to think that maybe the couple were sleeping and that was the first that I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, how do you? It is absolutely insane to me how
Maybe
they
they had
control.
some bad drugs or uh
No, you see the girls at the food truck minutes before they go home, and they are definitely not messed up.
but I mean, what if someone else was, took something and they just went berserk? Or I mean, there could be a lot of reasons that's crazy.
I think there was definitely a stalker, but that's just crazy that that 4 people. And I mean, when you if the 2 were in the bedroom and one he does whatever, the other person has to wake up or hear something and starts. I mean, it's just crazy, unless he gagged over their mouth or something. So I don't know. I just don't
Yeah.
know. But my gosh,
Or they had music playing loud, or the
Department
TV. You know how they have those real nice surround sounds, and or else they were passed out. Because one of them looked a little bit tipsy, you know, at the food truck.
yeah. But there has to be. I mean, there would have to be some serious screaming.
Yeah.
has 24 patrol officers and 5 support staff dedicated to this investigation. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow and 20 additional agents assigned in various locations, as well as 2 members of the
Hey,
Behavioral
Patty.
Analysis Unit. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, a public information team, a forensic services and crime scene team, and 15 uniformed troopers who have been valuable in helping provide community patrols and safety patrols. We very much appreciate their support.
Yeah, I thought that
This is our highest priority. It will remain.
regarding the neck slash being slashed first.
It might even kind of sound like they have a person of interest, but no suspects in that have been questioned.
Remain our highest priority. We owe that to the families. At this time, I would like to introduce Colonel Kedrick Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Ooh, a colonel. Oh, look at that setup.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you for those that are in attendance today for your attendance. We really appreciate this. What has affected Moscow and the community here has affected all of us as Idahoans. We have a way in Idaho that the communities come together in tough times, and this is one of those tough times. Leads from the community are important, and as the captain spoke, no tip is too small, and we would urge anybody that has any information whatsoever to please provide that to help us solve this case. The lead agency of this case is Moscow Police Department with Chief Fry and his dedicated team of professionals. And the Idaho State Police's role is to support them and their good work here. There is an awful lot of efforts going on behind the scenes, and I'll explain why it's behind the scenes in just a moment. But what can't be is always known of what we do in law enforcement. And I'd like to explain that in just a moment.
That's right. Exactly what he said goes with what Jen just said and what I said last night. I think they know who did it, and they are waiting for DNA to come back. They don't want to scare whoever did this off. Well, mine is similar to yours. I feel that they have his DNA, but I also feel that his DNA is not in that codec system. And I think they're trying to maybe have somebody in mind, and maybe they're trying to get that person's DNA. But I think you have to have DNA after stabbing 4 people. Like the slippage with the knife, even if you're wearing gloves, you can't viciously stab 4 people and not cut yourself somehow, some way. So I definitely believe they have the DNA. I think they ran it. I didn't think they got a match. And I think maybe they know a couple of suspects or surveillance camera or something. And maybe they need the DNA of people. But I would just tell everybody to come in and do a DNA swab if they had that, like in the Delphi murder, and see
Yes.
if. I wonder if Richard Allen ever did a DNA swab. Okay, back to this one. Don't even go there, Mar.
But the Idaho State Police and the FBI continue to provide resources to this investigation. I would like to speak for just a moment, if I could, not about this specific case, but rather an overview of how cases are investigated, so that maybe it'll give some sense of the why of the timeline here. We understand you want answers. We want answers too. But these take time, and if I could explain just a minute about the process here of what we go through just generally in investigations. So we use in advanced investigative techniques and crime scene processing. So what happens when a call comes in, the original officers, the first officers that respond to a scene, and then once that they've got their work there and determined that they need some additional investigative assistance, then they call investigators to come and help process that scene. And oftentimes it requires a forensics team to help process that scene. And when I say process the scene, what we're looking for any evidence that may help us to be able to find the people or person responsible for what we're seeing. And so we're collecting biological evidence, we're collecting latent evidence, whether it's shoe prints or tire marks or anything like that.
Oh, I bet there's
We're trying to collect
lots
that
of shoe
evidence.
prints.
We're trying to correct, we do that through photographs, we do that through 3D mapping to be able to map the scene. We identify and we mark evidence, and then we collect that evidence. And then we look for any evidence that we think may be helpful. And once that is done, then we package all that evidence up and we send it off to laboratories to be analyzed to see if it can help provide clues of what's happening. All of this takes an immense amount of time. The reason this is important to understand is because it's important that while this is such a tragic circumstance that we find ourselves in, law enforcement, we believe we owe this to the surviving families to get this right. And so we're not willing to sacrifice speed for quality. We do testing for blood, we do latent print processing, any documentations for anything at the scene so that we can reconstruct that scene at a later date.
Excuse me, Colonel, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but do you understand that you're talking to web sleuths? Okay, chop chop, buddy.
If I could share just a few statistics of this particular crime scene. At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence.
Oh, damn.
We took approximately 4,000 photographs.
Damn.
We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies. We've processed over 1,000 total tips and conducted 150.
Jen, we're going to open up the panel about the Idaho 4, but we just need to show an update on a case that we followed, and then I'm going to drop the link for the panel. Anyone can come up.
Interviews. I hope that you understand that gives a little bit of a perception of just how complex this case is. We have the utmost confidence in the
Hey,
investigation
Lynn.
and that this investigation will be done right. We ask you and we ask the public to please remain patient as this investigation unfolds, and please rely on official sources of information. We really appreciate the media's assistance. We know you have a job to do. We know that you're professionals and you do it to the best of your ability. And we're thankful that you're here, because without you, we could not get the correct information to the
You're
community that
right.
could help us solve this. So I can't overemphasize how much I appreciate and we appreciate in law enforcement your willingness to do this. What you are doing matters, and it matters in what we are committed to doing, and that is to the best way we can think of to honor these victims and their families is to conduct this investigation correctly.
I'm going to drop the link.
Finally,
in
I'd like to
a little
share
bit.
that I've been in regular contact with Idaho's Governor Brad Little throughout this investigation. Governor Little is making available up to $1 million for expenses related to this ongoing investigation. As you heard, the resources that are
Ooh,
here
$1
in
million.
Moscow and all throughout with this investigation, you can see that those expenses would add up quickly. Like all Idahoans, Governor Little is deeply saddened by the loss of his fight.
Okay, guys, I'm not laughing at this case at all, but I am laughing because I love the way is he calling us hoes? He's like, Idahoans. Chisme, are you an Idahoan?
Nope. A Texahoan. No, just kidding. Texahoan.
Yeah, you're a
Just kidding.
Texaho.
And proud of it.
And I'm a main hoe. I am the main hoe.
You're the
Oh,
main
shit. All right.
And promising young lives. And he's making sure the state of Idaho provides all of the resources possible to ensure that the person or persons responsible for this are brought to justice. And now I'd like to turn the time over to the University of Idaho President, Scott Green.
Right, Cat Eyes?
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Green, President of the University of Idaho. We deeply appreciate the kind words.
Holy cow. I thought that was the chief from the Quinton Simon case for 1 second.
We have been receiving from our alumni friends, as well as many others who may not know us but have taken time to reach out. People are donating to the victims' GoFundMe pages and the Bruce Pittman Fund for Students in Need, and they're buying personal devices for our students and continuing to look for other ways that they can help. This is what it means to be a vandal. In the last 24 hours, we have sent updated communications to our students, employees, parents, and alumni. And in those communications, we discuss campus security, services available to our students and employees, our plans for both remote and live instruction to close the semester, and our plans for a candlelight vigil on November 30. All of this is available on our website. We all want swift justice and continue to work with law enforcement to aid them in any way helpful to their investigation. As the investigation continues, we will better know how to proceed in the new year. We will endeavor to find a balance among safety concerns, the need to grieve, and the long-term needs of all of our students and employees. Through everything we do, we will keep Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, as well as their families and friends, in our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. I'm sorry, I need to introduce Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer. Tyler, sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Palmer. I'm Deputy City Supervisor with the City of Moscow, and I'm here today on behalf of Mayor Arthur Betke, the Moscow City Council, and Moscow City Administration. The loss of Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan has sent an overwhelming, palpable wave of grief, confusion, sorrow, and anger through our peaceful community. Mayor Betke, with the support of our City Council, has instructed staff to marshal all necessary resources for our law enforcement professionals as they
I can't imagine what their families are going through.
And find the person or people responsible for this. The outpouring of support, kindness, and genuine empathy locally and even globally has been a humbling reminder that those who want to help far outnumber those who want to hurt. And we take some solace in that.
Sorry.
To all of you who've reached out, sent letters and cards,
We don't have to
provided
like
food for those working
put it on it.
investigators.
We're gonna put that in the butter.
Mm-hmm.
These continued acts of
That's what
charity
gives it.
and humanity remind us why we live in this tight-knit, caring community. The City of Moscow is committed to seeing this investigation through to a successful end, and will continue to dedicate
Hi, Lilac.
for that effort. We are thankful for the immense support from the University of Idaho, Lake Tahoe County, Governor Little and his office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Moscow is my home. I know we won't be defined by tragedy, but how we respond to it. We mourn the loss.
Oh, wow. He is going
And we will
to.
relentlessly pursue justice on their behalf. Thank you.
Sad.
So we would like to open it up to any questions, but I would like to ask if there's an Argonaut reporter here that would like to ask. And then second after that, an Evergreen reporter, if there's one in the room. So let's start with the Argonaut, please.
James Storm Aldrich with the Argonaut. I have two questions, if that's all right. Firstly being what the police presence is going to look like after Thanksgiving break and how long that's going to last.
So I'll go ahead and answer. Police presence is going to be very heavy after the break. We have Idaho State Patrol that will also still be in the area, and you'll see a high impact of patrol officers and troopers, as well as Lake County Sheriff's Department personnel in the area.
And then secondly, would there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Your brand is special, and so is what you do. We are any promo.
Frankie Beer, the Daily Evergreen. I guess the Moscow PD press release mentioned looking into hundreds of pieces of information about Kaylee's potential stalker. I was wondering what led you to believe she did have a stalker possibly, and why those pieces of information haven't come up with conclusive results.
I'm actually going to let Captain Lanier answer this question. Okay.
Thank you, Chief. We obtained information through some of our interviews that Kaylee had made some comments about a stalker, so that's where that came from. We have followed up looking at specific time frames in specific town. We have not been able to corroborate it, but we're not done looking into that piece of information.
Dan Springer, Fox News. If I can get Captain Lanier. Sir, why not tell the public who the target was? You've said that this was a targeted attack. Why not tell the public who was targeted? If it was multiple people, it would go a long ways to telling the public what you're looking for and who you're looking for.
Exactly.
Why not do that to alleviate some of the fears out there?
Well, first and foremost, we have the integrity of the investigation to preserve. And we feel like that information is integral to us and how we conduct our investigation. Releasing that to the public may or may not flood us with a lot of information that's not relevant or specific to what we're looking at. So we do want more information, but we don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife.
This reminds me of Chief Huff with the Fruitland Police in Idaho, how they keep everything just under lock and key. And I mean, maybe it's an Idaho thing, but I think they should.
We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point, because we're not going to release why we think that.
That was interesting.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I see that the FBI set up a special webpage just to collect digital information. I'm also curious if any of the investigators can speak to this. Curious if the Wi-Fi hotspot has been tapped at all. It's possible if the suspect had their phone on them, it may have pinged off the Wi-Fi in the residence. Has that been checked on at all?
Oh, great question.
As I stated, our investigation is looking at every avenue of every piece of evidence that we can. The FBI has given us a website for any downloads of video or anything. So we ask people, if you have any of that, to send it to us, please.
Yes, Purple, I know that, but I say other things because I don't want to copy Honey Bunny Duty Ron.
In many homicide cases, the first hours, the first days are so incredibly crucial. Now that we're moving into a window that's further and further away from the incident, does that concern you about the ability to arrest a suspect, or do you have information that you simply can't share with us that makes you confident that you're close to solving this?
I'm going to have the Colonel step up and address that, please.
Well, thank you for the question, and I would like to address it a little more globally than specifically. A little more globally here. Yesterday, as time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected. And so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture of with all of the information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information that we're gathering, it may help us to provide a clearer picture. And so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. I was wondering if there's any evidence that suggests the attacker visited the first floor where the 2 surviving roommates were.
That information will not be released at this time. It's part of our investigation. And as we stated earlier, there's many things that are involved in investigation that we will release and things we won't.
Why wouldn't she release that?
They're probably real close to finding the person or evidence, so they don't really want to say anything.
Yeah, I'm starting to
Some
feel like
people
they
run
might
with
have.
it.
Yeah, it's starting to kind of sound like from this that they might have someone someone in mind.
Good afternoon, Ashley Soriano, Fox News. I have 2 questions. Have you considered the possibility of a murder-suicide? Is that something that you guys are considering right now?
That has been asked previously, not at a press conference. It's certainly something that we looked at in the early part of the investigation. It is not something that we're looking at this time.
And I know some of the investigators' vehicles and police vehicles are coming in and out of the driveway. Do you think that potentially could disturb any tire marks or other evidence?
Yeah, so the question has been asked about why did the crime scene tape expand, and that's not uncommon. When the first officers arrived, they tried to cordon off what they thought was important. We immediately expanded that when the investigators got there to process the scene. And logically, as this progresses, and you've seen this through our press releases, we have expanded it to several areas of the city and have in fact canvassed entire neighborhoods. So we try very, very hard to uncover every single bit of evidence possible in an area before we move on to the next area. So yes, we've looked at everything that we think we need to look at in and around the crime scene at this point.
Would you believe that cars coming back and forth in the driveway, potentially like tire marks or foot marks that there could have been?
Well, it's a gravel parking area, so it would be hard to say that.
How are you folks holding up? How are your detectives and officers holding up? And Chief, you mentioned that detectives are prepared to work tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So is the expectation that they will be?
That is correct. We're going to have many detectives and agents working all the way through this incident. Our people are dedicated. Our people care about this community. Our people want to ensure the community that we're here to bring safety and we're here to get a resolve on this. So we will continue to push through. We'll give people time off as they need it. And
Yeah,
we
they're
will
gonna need
continue to
therapy.
take care of them. But we're gonna keep pushing on this until we come to a conclusion.
Chris Mitchell, KLEW. Is there any plans to increase security for the Apple Cup on Friday?
I can't speak to what's going on in the state of Washington. I can only speak to what we're doing here on the campus of the University and his team. We are absolutely, with the Idaho State Police and the Moscow Police Department, we are 100% dedicated to making sure that this continues to be a safe place for students to do what students need to do. And so that's why we have so many uniformed troopers here that aren't necessarily assisting with the investigation, but rather here to help with the campus security. And President Green and his team have been fantastic in helping to strike that balance of resources here. I can tell you at the University of Idaho, we have a lot of state troopers, and a severe increase of state troopers and Moscow police officers here, both on campus as well as throughout the community.
John McBell, ABC News. Are investigators looking at any possible connection to an unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about a year and a half ago? Specifically, 2 people stabbed in their home in the middle of the night, long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow-up on, and we will continue to follow up on those.
Are you aware of that case?
I heard about
Actually,
that.
I had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay, one more question. Can you confirm the bodies have been released to the families or are being so released today?
I believe they have been released to the family, and I know that I believe one of them has already had a funeral.
Mm.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also you mentioned that the analysis unit is here, will we be able to hear anything from them about a working profile they possibly have? And on that note, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
So we look at every avenue. We're every
a female.
But he didn't say no.
BAU. Sorry.
Yes, I would like to know if the BA has a working profile, because, you know, you look at
No,
the
he
Mars.
didn't.
Are you able to tell us who was killed first on the time of death, so that we may understand, like, who was, if it was a targeted attack, it would make the most sense if they killed one of the roommates first, and then maybe the other two, you know, I'm not,
Sure.
this is not speculation, I'm getting off topic. My question is, are you guys looking at a working profile? Have they come up with anything new regarding the motive or intentions of the killer or killers?
The BAU unit is working diligently to do what they do. Will that be provided? I'm sure that may be provided once the conclusion of this case comes together. But they are continually taking in information, reading reports, and gathering information for that.
Good afternoon, Chief. Amanda Rowley with Crime 2. Seeing some speculation with some of the cars being searched this past week. Wondering if you can squash some of the rumors and that speculation. Is there anything you can share specifically on the white car out front, and then a follow-up for the university?
So I'll have Captain Lanier go ahead and go with that.
Thank you.
Well, we have looked at a lot of different vehicles. I'm assuming you're referring to the victim lot at the time. Yeah, so some of those vehicles belonged to the victims and some belonged to other people in the house. And so for us, that's part of the crime scene. As I mentioned, because it did through the parking lot. So we wanted to make sure that we looked at those prior to releasing the crime scene. It was part of the initial investigation that night.
Thank you. And for the university, is there any additional information at this time that you can offer about the candlelight vigil, maybe what we can expect from that? And then any other information you can provide about that ask of the community to light the night on November 30th?
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn this over to Blaine Nichols at this point. He's actually planning the whole event.
Good afternoon. I'm Blaine Nichols, Dean of Students. The vigil is going to be hosted next Wednesday, November 30th at 5 p.m. We have it scheduled for the administration lawn at the moment. We're going to make a final determination on location early next week, just because we're waiting for the weather window to get closer, so we feel comfortable that that's where it will be located. We're anticipating a large turnout of community members as well as university members, students, faculty, and staff at that particular event. And all of the families have been invited to join us if they so wish from the aspect of it. The response has just been absolutely beautiful and overwhelming. To love that, to the institution as well as family members. The Light the Night event that you're talking about, while I don't have a lot of details on that, is set to coincide at the same time, just so that people that can't be here in person as part of the vigil are going to be able to participate remotely as well. The vigil will be live streamed, and it's safe to say that the Vandal family is going to unite and come together to support the families in the darkest moments of their life, quite frankly.
So I'm going to go ahead and take two more questions, okay?
Jordan Smith, KXLY. At this point in time, do investigators know which entrance the suspect used to enter the residence? If this was someone who might have known the door code at the front or maybe used the back door?
Once again, that's part of our investigation. We're not going to release that information this time. Thank you.
It's not a no.
Wow.
No,
Hey, Lana.
You said this was a targeted event. You won't tell us why they were targeted. What should students do to prevent being targeted in the future?
Well, that's a great question, especially in light of what just happened. If you would have asked us 9 days ago,
I think
we
these
would
two
have
might be
probably a different
brothers.
answer. Moscow's always been a very safe community. In light of this, and maybe we should always look at it this way, vigilance, always traveling in pairs, knowing where you're going, telling someone when you arrive, and just that kind of general awareness. Maybe we should, as a community, have always been doing that. You know, in some ways, this took our innocence. I would tell students that you need to stay with a friend. I know that the university staff is looking at different options to increase some of the safety on campus and providing certain options to students. So yeah, going forward, there's a lot of things that maybe we wish we would have done before, but we need to start doing now.
So I'm going to go ahead and close.
Scary
but
stuff
we
like
do
me.
want to let our community know that we do care. We do want to provide a safe environment. We will continue to work hard, and we'll continue to do everything we can. We want people to be vigilant. We want people to report anything suspicious to us. Let us get there and handle it. But we are here to provide that safety. So I want to thank you for coming, and I appreciate your questions.
He kind of gave
It
a lot
does.
of
I mean,
hints.
it kind of sounds like they might have some persons of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what our big poll said.
Big poll.
So I asked, were the Idaho 4 killed by somebody they knew? 80% said yes, 20 said a stranger, and 0 said no. 20 votes. Oh, a big 20.
Nice.
Let's go have a look real quick, guys, at this house that they lived in.
Yeah, I was checking out the videos of the migrant workers, picking the potatoes, harvesting the potatoes. And I was checking out to see if they would use knives, but I didn't see anything. They use their bare hands. And I sent you a link to the video, but I sent it on Messenger.
Yeah, we were
And they
looking
use
at the
their bare
knife.
hands, so I didn't see any knives on them. You know how someone mentioned it could be a migrant worker.
I did, Jennifer. It's funny that you said that because I got a phone call from somebody yesterday that was asking me about this, and they said to me too that they feel like it is an immigrant. I don't know, but this is the house that
But they use their bare hands, but if they use their bare hands, I mean, you should see that video. They work hard and they run and then they throw the baskets up to a big truck. But anyway, I can imagine them being strong because they dig up they use their bare hands.
yeah, well, this person didn't use their bare hands.
No, but he was strong.
So this is the house where this horrible, horrible situation happened. I love the floors.
Yeah. I noticed they didn't have curtains, so you could see inside and to see what's going on.
Hmm. It's a nice house. Okay, but see, they are back up on the hill. And from what I hear, we can go back down and look on it on Google Maps, but back here, it's all supposed to be like woods to where they wouldn't see somebody if they were a peeping Tom back in
Yeah.
here.
And I think it's easy to climb that in case they decided to climb. The balcony.
And then they have this one listed as college pads. This one looks like it's a little older. Like it's been redone. See the woods behind it though?
Yes.
Yeah, these pictures are definitely older. Okay, Jen, I'm going to drop the link. I've got to go through 3 more quick things, and this one is sad. So, okay. The New Hampshire hiker, unfortunately, has been found. And it's not the ending that I wanted, but it's the ending that we are going to receive, unfortunately, that she has been found deceased.
Hi, it's Happy Car from the New Car family of
Hey, look at the little short bus again.
Tragic end.
At about 11 a.m. this morning, our rescue crews found her on the northwest side of Mount Lafitte, off trail.
Rescue teams discovering the body of 19-year-old hiker Emily Sotelo on the northwest side of Mount Lafayette in Franconia 3 days after she was reported missing.
The weather conditions by Sunday evening were single-digit temperatures, 40 to 60 mile per hour winds, blowing snow, and she was not, dressed accordingly.
Emily was last seen when her mother dropped her off at a campground Sunday morning. After she didn't return home as planned, a family member notified Fish and Game.
The biggest lessons learned in a tragedy like this is when you're hiking in New Hampshire, especially in the White Mountains, be prepared for the unexpected.
Yep. Emily was a sophomore at Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. In an Instagram post, she wrote she had a passion for hiking, and in a statement to the Vanderbilt community shared with News 9, administrators described her as an active member of the community, devoting her time to others, writing, quote, "Our thoughts during this difficult time are with her family and all of her many friends at Vanderbilt and beyond." And as winter approaches, Fish and Game says this should be a reminder to always be prepared when hiking.
Know when to turn around, know your limitations, and know when to turn back. The mountains will be there tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And after officials found her body, they were able to fly her back to the Cannon Mountain ski area. Officials say no foul play is suspected. Live in Concord, Ariel Metropolis, WMUR, News 9.
Ooh, it's cold even in the summer. Oh my goodness.
Well, the mountains that I showed you, Chisme, those were the mountains that she was hiking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I live in Maine, close to New Hampshire, and I can get to the White Mountains very quickly. I have a view of Mount Washington when I pull out of my house and make a left and come down the mountain. On a clear day, I can see it clear as day, the top of Mount Washington.
Yeah.
Did you, Lynn? But you cannot go up there. You have got to have winter gear, bottled waters with warmers. You have to have it's just sad that she went alone, but
yeah, it's brave.
And how she didn't have ways to contact someone to get off that mountain. Let's watch this last update. Yeah, sad. She was 19 when she left and 20 when they found her.
Wow.
Horrible. Let's see if this is the same guide. If it is, we will not watch it. Come on, baby. It was cold up there because we even got snow. And the winds were blowing this weekend. I mean, blowing. It was scary.
What the heck? I thought it was a COVID. Oh, it is a COVID.
Kidney drugs.
Oh, no, flu. It was the flu.
Search crews found Emily Sotelo's sad update to the search for a missing hiker in New Hampshire. Search crews found Emily Sotelo's body today. Sotelo hasn't been seen since Sunday morning when her mom dropped her off to hike 3 peaks in the Franconia area. Her body was found on the north side of Lafayette Mountain. Fish and Game officials said today it looks like she died from exposure to the elements. The Westford, Massachusetts resident would have turned 20 years old today.
Oh, okay. So she would have turned 20 today. Horrible.
Wow.
Yes, everyone get your flu shot.
Mm-hmm. If you go hiking, be sure to take there's a special blanket you can take that it'll warm up. It's kind of like a aluminum type, and then a flare gun and a horn. Go
Exactly,
like me when I go out.
but I live in an area that she was hiking. That's what my terrain is outside. She was unprepared. It was her first hike, and she should have been in communication with somebody she wasn't prepared.
Don't go
unless
by yourself.
Maybe, well, she could have fallen and gotten hurt too. She
Yeah.
could have twisted an ankle or something, but the fact that she was out of communication was not a good thing for a first time hiker. Mm. Okay, so I am so confused right now on two names. Jennifer Nobles. You emailed me, Jennifer?
It's weird
Jennifer,
how
was that
Mhm.
what just me? Go ahead.
Lynn GMB says she's from Mass, and they went to the mountains every year growing up. And back, it seems like back then you didn't hear about that. Missing
Hey,
people.
Junie.
Lost people on the mountains. It's horrible. Things have changed.
Girl, you have to ask Kaz if Kaz is listening. Kaz and I are so into mountains and hiking. I'm telling you, we have seen every Mount Washington, K2. I mean, Everest. I have watched all of the mountain climbings.
Mm.
Denali. I've seen them all. I love to watch. So, Jennifer, did you email me? Or is that was Jennifer? One second, guys. I know it's a Jennifer. I got to get to the top.
Yeah, Junie, my doctor wants me to get my flu shots and some old, elderly. I'm not elderly, but getting up there. But
Oh,
I
hell
never
yeah,
had
you're
to take a flu
elderly.
shot. But I feel young. I have
Hey,
to turn away these
Shredder.
youngins.
I didn't even see Shredder was here. Okay, somebody sent an email and asked us to touch on a case.
You RSVs and
Hey, Justice
is
Jane.
rampant.
God, I miss a lot of things.
I already had the flu this year. Shoot.
Was Jennifer Cooley in here earlier?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to. Yes, okay. I thought, you know what? I thought I was going crazy. Oh, okay. Kaz. Hang on a second. Let's bother Kaz for a minute. I invited Mr. X to come on tonight at the end and just chit chat, but I'm going to drop you the link, Jen, in 1 second. Well, I can drop it now actually because this video is not long, but we have not started looking into her yet, but I do want to share out her story. It's an
I knew I
eight-year
had the
old
flu
cold
for like,
case.
oh my goodness. I wonder if it's the one I've been working on. My when my grandkids went to the doctor and we were all sick, they told them they had the flu, so that's how I figured out I had it. What's up?
Well, the fact that we might be able to get some people to look around out that in that area, but tomorrow we are officially starting the People Network on Facebook to where we're gonna, you know what we're gonna do, get people in different states that want to go and do people nice protesting when things happen. And then who knows, maybe everyone in chat are greatest people that come all the time. We'll have a nonprofit business and we'll be a worldwide networking to get the word out for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, instead of protests, we could just say awareness. Oh, what do one person call it? Missing persons awareness march.
Okay, I believe this came from Jennifer Cooley then. I just want to make sure. I don't like to have the wrong information. Let's see if Kazaru answers.
Yes, Lynn, they beat that girl up in Mexico and they broke her neck.
Who?
The black girl that went to Mexico and then they beat her up there. Her name is Shanquella Robinson, I believe. I'm not sure how to pronounce her first name. And then they have the video of the fight, and she was passed out drunk.
Damn. Okay, I believe this was sent from Jennifer Cooley, the really pretty girl that I always tell her that I love her eyebrows. She wanted us to share this story. So, like I said, we haven't looked into her, but I do want to put it out there now, and then I'm going to do a little investigating with Kaz and Chisme and see what we can come up with.
During the Black Friday sales event at Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge.
I think I might have to buy a
No.
laptop on Black Friday.
Yeah. Yep.
She
I
was
want an
always
85
cleaning
inch
out
TV.
in her garden area, and she always wore a hoodie. She was always sweeping, so everything in their yard was, just always keeping everything, every little rock just in its place.
Susan Jacobson disappeared on May 1st, 2013, and hasn't been seen since.
They were always kind of quiet and very wonderful people. And since that all blew up when she went missing, I was with Chris.
Cat Eyes, you sent this. I sent you the email on the. Okay, thank you, Cat Eyes. Okay, yes. I got a couple of emails to look into a couple of people, but Jennifer Nobles, please email us. Because we like to get other stories out there. We just don't like the stories where every single YouTuber is on that story for more than it's to the point where they drag it out so long that at the end you might think the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus did it.
The turkey.
He was always a very wonderful person.
Chris Jacobson is Susan's husband. He spoke with us 1 week after his wife's disappearance.
That morning when she told me she was going shopping, I didn't think much of it. She had a few errands to run that she had to catch up on some things.
The last person to see Mrs. Jacobson alive was her husband in the early morning hours. And then it was not until the next day when her car was found in the parking lot of the grocery store on Pleasant Grove and Wood Creek Oaks Boulevard. Her wallet was found nearby her vehicle, and that was the last time anyone had seen or heard from her since then.
The Roseville Police Department now has their lead cold case investigator looking at all the evidence again.
The advancements in technology over the past 8 years have really been pretty profound. When you talk about 4K imaging, greater forensic evidence processing, the parking lot, the wallet, the items missing from the wallet, all incredibly suspicious. Again, all leading to just this larger question of where did she go and what happened to her.
They're also hoping someone with new information will come forward. If you were here in this parking lot that day where Susan Jacobson's car and wallet were found, call the Roseville Police Department. In Roseville, Walter McCullough, KCRA 3 News.
Goodness.
Okay, Jen, I'm going to drop the link. If anybody wants to come up, Idaho 4, anything, come on up. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. But before I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that little clip that I just saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know too much of it, but I am definitely, the first thing I'm doing is I'm doing a background check on the husband because he gave me a little bit of a uncomfortable feeling.
Yes. Yes. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
some
and
YouTubers are giving us a bad name.
yeah, and I'm just gonna go off of my spidey sense, but I totally feel like he might be a heavy drinker.
Mm. For
Yeah, we'll
once, we
see.
agree.
I know, right? Jen B, come up. We want to hear your scratchy voice. Jennifer, if you want to come up. Who was the one that you were talking about, Jennifer Nobles? Jennifer Keese? Let's see who Jennifer Keese
Been
is
missing.
while Jen B comes up. Let's check out some people that you guys in chat are curious about. I do want to go to Twitter, though, real quick and look on Jennifer Keese. Where is she missing from? I didn't see that. Missing.
I can tell you about the little boy that's missing from San
Orlando.
Antonio.
Yes, she's missing from Orlando. Now, I actually saw on Twitter too the other day that a beautiful blonde girl around Gabby's age went missing. And
Damn.
nobody's talking about that. I'm going to have to go and check it out and see if I can find her. Kaz and I were looking for her the other day, but I couldn't. So this is Jennifer Keese. So a 24-year-old Florida woman went missing 15 years ago. Say they hope to solve the case this year after raising more than $80,000 to pay for a private investigator.
Mm. Don't forget to call Mr. X.
I'm not. And well, he went to bed. I called him earlier before the live, but this is going to be surveillance footage of, I think, her car or Daily Mail hates me, just like Fox. Come on. You can do it. Oh, God.
Launched a new initiative titled Restoring America, promoting patriotic virtues and values.
He doesn't sound like an American.
No, he doesn't. He has an accent for sure.
Oh, Purple Faith knows
Okay,
sign
so
language.
we have person of interest in the Jennifer Keese disappearance on camera. Did you see anybody on camera? I don't see anybody.
No. Person of interest. Oh, I thought I saw
Oh,
something.
right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Damn.
so I think that it looks like a ghost.
That's what I thought.
Why
Girl,
would
we're
they
agreeing
eat?
tonight. We are agreeing tonight.
Right, we are
'Cause, you know,
completely on the same. Hey, Jen. Wait, I want to go back. Let me find one more video.
but Jennifer Nobles
Let me play this one.
says,
Is there feedback on my end?
No, you're good, Jen. Okay, let me just play this last. Let me play this last video on Jennifer Keese, so that we can see who she is.
oh yeah, I do hear feedback.
A little bit. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna play this last video on Jennifer Keese.
Cassie
Oh, she's
need
beautiful.
help. Their daughter disappeared 16 years ago. Still no arrests, no answers, no Jennifer. Family is blaming the Orlando Police Department.
Hi, sweet Melissa.
Well, she probably had a fight with her boyfriend. She'll be back. And he walked out.
Jennifer Kessie vanished more than 16 years ago, leaving behind nothing but questions. 4 years ago, Drew Kessie, Jennifer's father, sued the Orlando Police Department. The family wanted all of Jennifer's case files, which he says took years to get rather than months.
When we received the files, it's like someone just threw 16,000 pages on the floor. Of course, couldn't find Jennifer. They didn't know what was in their own files. It took them 4 years, and I don't even think they know if they gave it, even though they said they.
The search net because Drew hired private detectives to keep digging. He says he has new potential leads, but hit a roadblock. He needs another law enforcement agency to pick up Jennifer's case.
I remember this case.
And reach out to people his team can't.
We've had people come up to us and contact us, the lawyers and our community, saying that, yeah, I lived there at that time, and this is my experience. And, you know, we have several women that pretty much gone through, I guess, what Jennifer did, except Jennifer's was taken to the next level.
The Orlando Police Department is not commenting on this case.
Well, hello, Jen B. It's finally nice to talk to you.
Hi.
Oh yeah, I can hear.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear
Did he say
myself.
that there were other cases?
You can hear yourself?
Yeah, do you have earbuds?
Yeah, they're not in.
Maybe put them in.
If I put them in, then it connects to my Bluetooth and then it drops. Let me leave and try to come back.
Okay.
I thought
So
he
it
said there were
sounds
other
like,
cases.
yeah, this Jennifer Keese case, I remember her because I grew up basically down south in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. I went to high school, graduated, but it seems like they have a. Let me see something real quick. Yeah,
Yep,
this was
can we follow
actually
your
out.
Insta?
My baby just woke up. Fiona just woke up.
My babies are asleep.
Okay, let me open this up. Present. Yeah, this was just out in 2022. I think it was January. January 24th, 2022. I'm coming for you, Gen B, 1 sec.
Striving to reach goals.
And yes, Lana, I totally remember this case, and tomorrow I will be spending the whole day on Facebook group making the People Network. We'll have to think of a better name, though, than People Network.
16 years since Jennifer Kessie disappeared from Orlando.
Families still work to try to bring her home. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth is joining us live this morning in Orlando. And Randy, there's just that one really key piece of evidence in this case.
Good morning. That video has been a key part of this investigation. It showed an unidentified man park her car in this area off Downing Street and then leave. Now, for Jennifer Kessie's family, the frustration is still fresh, the desperation to find her, and a little bit of anger towards Orlando police. They posted an update on the GoFundMe page just a few days ago before today's anniversary, saying that they're still waiting on Orlando police some records in her case. You may remember they settled a lawsuit back in 2019 over access to file images and pictures from that video. The family says they wanted to get those documents so their private investigator can continue the search. Her dad posting on that GoFundMe account saying, quote, "We firmly believe the department's negligence and lack of competency cost Jennifer the chance to be found. So our team sits ready to show any law enforcement agency where to go, who to speak to, and what questions to ask." Now, Jennifer Kessie was 24 years old when she disappeared from her Orlando condo, essentially without a trace. The family says that they are focusing on the case files from the first 3 months after she disappeared. I did reach out to Orlando Police Department this morning to get the very latest on this investigation. As soon as I hear back, I will pass that information along. Live this morning in Orlando, Randy Hildreth, Fox 35 News.
Okay, let's hear you now, beautiful girl.
Can you hear me any better?
Let me talk and see. Absolutely. 1 second. Sherry, hello, my best friend, my BFF who never calls me.
Hi, Sherry.
Yes, I got your text message and happy Thanksgiving. I will be calling you tomorrow. So, Jen B, please do tell us your thoughts. I am going to be listening, but I really got to use the little girls' room.
On the Idaho 4.
On the Idaho 4.
It is basically what I put in chat, and I apologize of my voice, but I think I don't even know if this is possible because I'm not like really tech savvy like a lot of these young kids are. But you know how like phones have like you can say call so and so and it'll call that person for you automatically.
Yes.
Okay. So what if they weren't really trying to call Jack, but he was there possibly like struggling with them and they were saying something that sounded similar to call Jack, and that's why their phones were picking up trying to call Jack back to back to back.
Yeah. Especially the iPhones, they have Siri, and you know you can.
Okay, wait, guys, wait. Jen, break that down for me. So, explain to me so that the phone calls that went out. I'm looking for the phone call log now.
Yeah, the calls that went out from Kaylee and what's the other girl's name? Madison. What is that her name?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they weren't intentionally trying to call Jack, the ex-boyfriend. I think maybe, and this is just allegedly speculation, my thoughts, that with some cell phones, and I'm not, again, tech savvy like these young hip kids are, but is it possible? I know like sometimes it's possible you can say, like, call MonkieMar and my phone will automatically call you.
Yes.
So could they have been struggling with Jack and said something that sounded like call Jack, like, I don't know, no Jack or something that would simulate almost the same sound, and the phones automatically auto dialed Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Struggling.
I have an Android. So, in order for me to tell my phone to do anything, I have to hit the Google button, the Google app, and then I have to hit the microphone. And then I just say, like today, when I called to make an appointment to get my ferret's nails trimmed, I said, "Can you please call Norway Veterinary Clinic?"
So on your Android, you have to physically pick up your phone and push a button for
I have
it to
to, like, I'll do
say
it right now.
a command.
I have to open up my phone on my Android. And then, oh, wait, I'm talking to Kaz. I've been with Kaz on the phone. Kaz.
Hey, Kaz.
Oh, she's gone. So here's what I do.
Look,
I
your
open up.
phone called Taz and you didn't even know. Point proven.
Thank
Case
God I don't talk
dismissed.
about her. So I open up my phone and I hit the Google app, and then I
Mhm.
say call Norway animal veterinarian.
Calling Norway Veterinary Hospital.
So you have to physically touch your phone and push a button for it to recognize your voice to make an outbound call.
Norway Veterinary Hospital.
So I have to hit the Google button, the Google app,
Mhm.
and then I have to hit the microphone on the Google app and then tell it, and then my phone will do it.
Okay, now is there anybody in chat that has an iPhone
I have
and
an iPhone.
can tell me how the process works with an iPhone
Yeah, with an
or an
iPhone,
iPad or whatever?
all I have to do is say, "Hey Siri, call so and so," and it'll call. Or if I lose my phone, I just say, "Hey Siri, where are you?" and it'll say, "I'm over here," and it'll even say my name. And I can say, "Call Mar," and it'll call Mar for me. Call
You you
EMS.
don't have to pick up your phone or anything for it to
No,
do that.
mm-mm,
It's just voice
no, but
command
it has
only.
to be programmed to your voice, but it'll
Well,
pick it
yeah,
up right
right.
away. Someone tried to steal my phone, my sister who's on drugs, and I let her borrow it, and then she couldn't find it, and I just says, "Hey Siri," and it goes, "Yes," and it named my name, and it was
So,
in her purse.
Okay.
so if these girls were struggling with Jack, the ex-boyfriend, who's
Yeah.
programmed in their phone, and they have an iPhone, they could have possibly said something, 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 Jack, and that prompted their phone to call Jack, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
hypothetically saying.
Well, I have another idea too. What if they had
I don't know if they
what?
had an iPhone or Android. That's
Wait.
just a theory.
Okay, but what if let's forget the whole entire phone. What if they had Alexa? Oh my God, Lilac,
Yes.
that's so funny.
Right. Like
I didn't even
Alexa
see your
or,
comment until I said Alexa, and then I looked down. Yeah,
yeah,
what if
Yeah.
they had Alexa?
like Alexa or even like Google Home will do that for me. I know mine does. And it's an Android. I don't even have to touch the thing. It's just mounted on
Yeah.
the wall. But
Like stop Jack, stop Jack.
something that would sound similar to like stop Jack, no Jack, something Jack, whatever. That would have caused in my head I'm thinking that's what would have prompted them to contact for the phone calls to be back to back to back to back. But then also I have to look at the timeline. Like when is that scenario even, or does that theory even fit into the timeline of when they think the girls and the guy were murdered?
Okay,
Like
well
do the
let's
phone
see.
calls do the phone call times back up around the time that they're thinking they were killed?
Let me see
Yeah.
if I can find.
Or maybe they were calling him for help.
Well, they were calling him for help. They done. You need to call the 911.
Yes.
Jack is not a Captain Save-A-Ho. 911 is going to get there quicker than Jack. So if they're like in that fear for their life, which you would think they would be, then they should have been calling 911, not Jack.
Yeah.
And also, why MonkieMar's looking that up, I also think that, again, my theory, speculation, whatever, when they found, they said the roommates found the girl or found them, and they said that they were unresponsive. And then they called 911. or whoever it was, a friend came over, or the roommates, whoever called 911. They won't release who it was that called 911. I think whoever did this possibly locked the doors behind him so to try to delay
What is
them being
this?
found.
Yeah.
What
So
is
then
this?
the call went in as a unconscious because
Hey
they didn't
guys,
know.
what is this? It says, using Google Trends, I see Madison was searched 10 times on November 7th. Seems really odd. Can we find out who searched and from where?
On what day?
So on November 7th, 2022, somebody searched Madison 10 times.
The turkey's in the sink.
It is a good possibility. Hi, Lynn. I'm starting to, I hate to say this, guys,
I think there's a
but
lot of technology that could be used here
hey,
to try to
Kaz.
figure out what went on or what's going on here.
I hate to say this. Okay. Can
But
you
this
hear me
is
talking?
whoever.
My boss used to turn Alexa on and record us. We
Hey,
used to talk
Boston.
about her.
I hear you now, MonkieMar.
Okay. Has okay, I can hear
Yes,
feedback
darling.
coming through.
Oh,
Everyone,
well,
I have to
only
go
on my
on.
No,
phone.
no, no. It's Jen. You got the feedback again, Jen.
Okay, I'll just drop down.
No, no, no. Drop down and come back in.
Yeah, come back.
Okay.
Come back in. Hey, Kaz.
Hello.
Hola.
So
Hola.
yes, Kaz, you didn't hear it, but we're not going to discuss it, but I wanted to let you know too that Emily has passed away. They found her body today up in the
Oh,
mountains. And
oh,
today was her 20th birthday.
oh no, that's sad.
I know. But she was completely not prepared. And Kaz, you tell them I've showed you the mountain range driving where she went missing.
Yeah.
And Chisme's seen the mountain range too. But has anyone ever heard of this Explore? I've never heard of this. So Madison Mogan on November 7th, 2022 was searched 10 times.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Explore?
Uh, yeah, I use that. I wonder why. Hey, Jess, how are you,
I'm
darling?
trying to find a good timeline. I was hoping that Sleuthy made one.
Well, her sister did up a pretty accurate one that she gave to the police because the
Yes.
police didn't have an accurate timeline as what her sister did, because
Yeah,
her
I think
sister
her.
went and got CCTV footage that she handed over to the police.
I'm looking for the phone calls though. Does anyone have the information regarding when these 15 phone calls went out? That's what I'm looking for. Because Gen B's it has a very interesting idea with that.
Yes.
Well, her sister did say that her sister, sorry, get it right, Kaz, Kayla and her mum shared the same phone plan. So she was able to get the data for the phone before the police could, because the police needed a warrant, where her mum didn't because it's her phone plan. Kayla just shared the phone plan. So her mum could get the exact details of how many phone calls Kayla made to Jack right away. And the last phone call Kayla made to Jack was around 3 a.m. in the morning. And Jack wasn't
Yeah.
picking up.
So, okay, so during the timeline, so what I'm saying is, I'm curious of what time those phone calls came in. Gen
Went
B,
out,
do
you
you know
mean?
what the timeline of the phone calls?
No, the
So let's
last
still.
one was at 3, Cass says.
I don't know why you got feedback. Wait, I think it's gone. Nope.
I muted myself. I don't know why.
Is there, are you got reports? Oh, she's pissed off. That one right there, she's mad.
Yeah. You can't put a headphone or earbuds in.
I can grab some. Hold on just a second.
Okay. I'm gonna play this while she does this. Yeah, let me start. This is the sister of slain Idaho student speaks out to Cuomo. I'm curious I have never seen this, so it's only 2 minutes, but let's just go ahead and see.
Sorry
Yeah.
to meet you this way.
Kaz, I got to use the little girls' room if you want to handle our lovely guest.
Okay.
She
What do
doesn't
you
trust
want
me.
people to know about your sister?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to know about Kaylee is she was a go-getter and she was an absolute fighter. And I want people to take this personally because she was everyone's daughter. You know, she's the neighbor, she's the friend. You know, she was the girl who made your coffee in the morning. And everyone should be taking this personally.
So we're taking it personally.
That's so sweet.
And it doesn't make any sense, certainly not to you. In terms of what you understood about your sister's life, was there any threat that she had ever had? Was there anybody who was coming after her on social media? Did she have a past, a problem with a boyfriend or a friend? Anything to inform why somebody would do something so violent to her, her friend, her other roommate, and her boyfriend?
Absolutely. There's nothing. There's no boy problem. There's no threat. There's no high-risk lifestyle that could have indicated this. It has taken all of us completely by shock, and we have absolutely no ideas. None.
Now, your frustration, other than just dealing with the tremendous loss for your family, is what in terms of the investigation?
I think this happened in a small town, and I absolutely understand that local authorities were probably overwhelmed, and I don't blame them at all. They did exactly what they should have done. But we're losing critical time, and I want more coverage. I want more done. I understand that we can't release information. It's an ongoing investigation. I don't ask for that. I don't want to impede on anything, but I want more people speaking out. And if that takes the police to push that agenda, that's fine. But unfortunately, I feel like it's been me and the families pushing that agenda, and that's been really difficult.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's.
That's it. Promote the channel, News Nation. Good job. Good job. Jen, say something now. Let's see if they're getting the feedback now.
I'm still grabbing them. I was trying to grab a pair that wasn't Bluetooth and that were regular, but they're not compatible with my phone.
Okay, it's strange that you're not feedbacking. Are you playing any the live on any other media?
I don't know. I don't hear feedback. I just hear something weird on her end.
Well, I'm moving stuff around in my purse right now. Do you hear that?
Okay, now you're
Headphones. All right, I'm gonna pop these in and see what happens. But usually it drops me.
What's in Jennifer's purse, guys?
Yeah, turn off the
There's
YouTube.
feedback.
Everyone, I have to go because I've been procrastinating on my turkey, and everyone's coming in here and giving me a dirty look.
Oh, Jen, that's bad feedback. Guys, do you have the feedback?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that bad with these headphones?
Let me see. Nope. Yep.
Still bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your YouTube channel doesn't like me.
Maybe try to go back out and come back with the headphones.
I'm not gonna do that again. Can you hear me now? Better?
Do you have YouTube muted?
Yeah, I'm completely closed out of it.
That's bizarre.
Is it like echoing?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, Jen. I sound like an 80-year-old man on the feedback. Oh, Lord. Is that what I'm going to sound like when I'm 80? Oh.
I'm hearing it's like we're talking through a tin can.
Yeah, that was definitely muffled.
And I'm running
Chisme.
off. She's gone.
Who's gone?
Chisme. She's basting a turkey.
Yeah, she better get her butt back up here.
She says, I've got to get the turkey in the oven.
So I'm trying. So do we know the time? I'm trying to look for the
The interview that I watched that Iqbal did, that he played, sorry, with the mother, the sister, and the aunt. The sister gave the full timeline of the phone calls that went out of Kaylee's phone when they started.
Okay, where can you where's that video at? I want to play that.
It's Iqbal played it. If I come, drop out here, you know.
Okay, so when did Iqbal come out with it?
It came out with it about, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
It came out with it about 3-4 days ago.
Is it the one Idaho? Oh, live calls.
No, it's about 30 minutes in total. It was actually an interview that was done with a TV channel that he just played.
It says updates and calls.
No.
Do you have, hang on. (911) call update for University food truck. You stand behind Jack. 911 calls and updates. Neighbors of the murdered.
Do you want me to find it?
Well, I'm gonna, but while you're doing that, I'm gonna play this interview with the neighbors. But I want to drop Iqbal's link in the chat, even though I'm sure all of you are subbed to him. I like Iqbal.
Interviewed some of the neighbors in that area close to where the murders took place.
Hi,
and they kind of described.
And the only thing I heard, honestly, you know,
you wake up in that morning, on Sunday, and you just go to work, and you don't really think anything of it. I was
Me too,
at work,
Lynn.
and the only thing I heard about was like the unconscious person. And
This is the first year that I do not have to cook Thanksgiving dinner. And the only thing I'm going to make is a homemade macaroni and cheese. But I didn't even buy the ingredients and go to the store today. And I was like, oh shit, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be driving around like Kentucky Fried Chicken and finding anything where I can get macaroni cheese and throw it in a to-go cup. I'm only kidding. No, I'm not kidding.
And then, I didn't realize it had more severity to it till I got home and I could hear the clicking of the camera.
Unconscious person too.
It's really small town feel, lots of hills, but it seems like a really close-knit community. All of my professors and stuff that are from here, seems like they've been here for a decade longer. They seem to know about everybody.
So that's the kind of vibe we've been hearing about the entire time. I think it was like 25,000 people, but small community. People know, seems like almost everybody knows everybody type of thing, type of deal.
So I would say it's a fairly small community, even though there's roughly 20 to 25,000 people here. And the officer that came by door to door, he asked if we had any sort of surveillance or if we knew about any other cameras or anything in the area. Sadly, this is an apartment building, and I'm assuming it's relatively old, so there was nothing. Luckily, the apartment sent out a couple days ago saying they're adding new lights, which there is a new light up there.
In the 60s.
They're going to work on installing cameras just so that if anything.
And you can tell this is like literally right. You see the crime scene tape right there. So like they're literally right next door to it. And yeah, they better have some cameras. Like great that there's some lights being installed, but after all this shit and whatever I'm paying for rent or whatever, they need to install something cameras.
Thing like this were to happen again, there's a better chance of getting footage of who did it.
It's just nerve-wracking mostly, and
Gen
stressful
B,
because she's always
you're going to have to pop back up and drop it in the private chat.
Surreal, almost like something out of a TV show, not something that I would have expected to be experiencing so close to home.
It seems like everyone that has been here for a while is just devastated by it. The last murder here was 2015, so
Let me grab it.
The last murder, 2015. Holy moly. So I guess the weirdos out there just like skinning and filleting animals and stuff. I mean, that's kind of tongue-in-cheek from the horrible stories we covered earlier. But I guess just to give some insight how people felt so safe out there, because people were, a couple of people have told me that it's not uncommon for people to leave their doors unlocked out there.
And so it's not something that happens frequently. It's not like we're in a big city where it's an everyday occurrence. So something like this is just sort of rare, doesn't happen often, so people aren't used to it. It's really odd because, I don't know, I've never been this close to any sort of other like crime scene before, I guess, other than like a drug bust, like walking by a house and seeing cops with like a drug bust. That's the closest I've ever been to a crime scene. So especially one of this magnitude, where I could throw
Jen.
a baseball
you.
from my front of the house. It's just
from her working by herself in the dark a lot now because in the it's daytime, it's not as scary, but in the dark now, for me, my concern is I just don't let her walk here by herself unless it's during the daytime, and I'll go pick her up now because I don't like her walking by herself.
No, I went to bed early that night, and then I woke up to and 4 hours later, message, and there was a bunch of police here, and then that was the end of normalcy for the past week or so here. Though the day that the police were called here, after that, an officer came by and just went along here, just he had seen her thing with operators so far.
And then I left for like around 11:45, and I never saw or heard anything. And I before 2 never heard. Like it's just been how quiet it's been. It's having like some sort of music here.
And this is just interesting, and it goes back to things are quite a big situation happen, but usually there's music, there's people gathering, and
I put that
to describe that.
Sorry, darling.
It's like
I put that thing into Discord for you.
They always, us, we never assume anything good.
Yeah.
Because there's so it's just they always
Stay at the party house.
not necessarily like
I miss Juju's.
maybe like really got crazy college stuff.
House occasional it was pretty
it was loud, but most of the time self-contained.
But yeah, as I would take my dog in and out to go to the bathroom, I would just be walking by. I would look up and I would see people in the windows almost every night, probably 4 or 5 nights a week. So there were a lot of people that went into and out of that house pretty frequently. So yeah, it was kind of a party house. Again, this whole neighborhood is sort of like a party neighborhood because it's just off campus. So
The person could be right in the neighborhood for all we know.
You sort of don't have to follow the university rules. It's
That's the thing too. A friend of mine told me about, like the whole right off campus type of thing. They don't really have to abide by the university.
I think they got a list of people that went in and out of that house already.
something that you just walk away from and act all normal. And so whether or not the cops think there's a danger, I disagree. I think there is a danger because 4 people shows that that person's dangerous. So I hope he's caught, preferably when I get back from break.
One of the parts that kind of stuck out to me too was when one of the neighbors he was talking about, there were parties that were kind of loud. He said, as I would take my dog in and out to go to the bathroom, walking by, I would look up and see people in the windows almost every night, which, by the way, we really see all around that house, but specifically to what we were talking about earlier, where the crime scene was expanded behind the house into that kind of parking tree area.
Am I on crack, or did I hear Ikmail going like in a couple of different directions for a second?
He was. Lilac Breeze, no, they got home late. There was 3 different arrival times for the people that live there. There was Kaylee and her friend got home at one time. Then the couple got home from the frat party at a different time. Then the 2 girls that were unharmed got home. They were home at the earliest time. So there's 3 different times of arrival at the house. So for this person to do what they did was unbelievably bizarre as far as to get away with it. He or she was damn lucky. They had to know or was watching the comings and goings of that house. Had to be. Because the private, Kaylee and her friend got home, according to, it's a approximate travel time from that food truck, her sister said, which we'll see in that Ikmail's videos in Discord, darling. I found it. Even when I'm not at home, I found it.
Oh, okay. I'll play this one afterwards. Then let me grab that. Go ahead and finish talking, Kaz. I need to put my little Fiona to bed.
All right, darling. Yeah. It's not very far from that.
Can you hear me still, Kaz, or am I echoing?
Yes.
Okay. Did she get the timestamp I sent?
Yes, you did, darling. 46 and 12.
Yeah, I put it. She told me to put it in the back chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got it up on the screen.
I already have it on the screen.
Thanks, ladies.
Oh, Jen, thanks for coming back. I wish she didn't have that feedback. I love Jen B. She's one of the first people I met on the streets of YouTube.
Ooh.
Okay. Is this the one with the calls? Let's see what this is about. But I'm going to
It's
go
not
ahead.
the calls. It's her mum, her sister, and an auntie sitting down with a news station, and they go through all the phone calls about Jake.
Okay.
It's fantastic, this interview.
Okay.
Uber driver.
I found neighbors' Ring camera footage so that I can verify that the Uber driver took her home.
She's also raising questions about why her sister called a young man named Jack multiple times the night she was slain.
At 2:26 a.m., Kaylee starts to call Jack. Kaylee calls Jack 6 times between 2:26 a.m. to 2:44 a.m.
Gosh, I give you a lot of credit. You're almost
Bruh.
All right. Did you get that? For the
like a
people that were asking?
here, putting all the pieces together. I spoke with retired detective Phil Waters, who had a 96% clearance rate on homicide cases when he was with the Houston police.
There's no doubt that this is a person who is filled with a
Yeah,
type
I
of
know.
evil that
Jake,
is incomprehensible.
There were 2 other roommates in the house who walked away from this. How is that possible?
The use of an edged weapon is going to prevent any kind of real sounds that would awaken the other 2 girls. If this person, and it appears
Somebody said maybe for help. I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
to be they are proficient with an edged weapon, the deaths would have occurred so quickly that there would have been no opportunity.
When it said criminality, hey Mel, there are 2 Jacks and a Jake. There's 2 Jacks and a Jake
For them to cry
Thank you for the
out.
super chat. The
I
part
knew
here,
I
well,
got
she
Jake
says
from
Jack
somewhere.
here. I mean, it could be a different. So you're saying it's a different Jack from the guy that they're talking about on Reddit? Oh Lord,
Yeah, it's very confusing.
the guy named Jack. So who's Jake? Oh Lord. Well, I don't know. The person being referenced is a Jack. I'm not going to say the last name or anything like that, but on Reddit, they're referencing a Jack. And in this video, they're referencing a Jack. Could there be multiple Jacks and Jakes and whatever? Maybe. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I mean, the Reddit thread, they're specifically talking about a Jack. I mean, that's not to say that there can't be another Jack in the story or something or whatever, but you got to do better redaction next time. Better redaction job. That's not a great one.
Okay, this is not the video that we're going to watch that you sent, right?
No.
Okay, let me get that video real quick. I had to use a little. Did you put it in Discord?
I did, darling.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Last night, guys, I was driving home and I was talking to Kaz, and I'm glad that we hung up as soon as we did as I was calling her back. I'm telling you, there was a moose.
Oh, yeah.
A moose crossing across the road. And I came around the bend and I thought it was a deer, a big deer. But then when I got closer and I slowed down, he was just standing in the road. He was so big. So I put my car in reverse and I turned off my headlights and I slowly backed up and turned around till he was gone.
Chicken, you're not messing with any mooses?
I was stalking the moose like, go away. I'm not going down the road till you're gone.
Yeah, there are 3 J's. There is Jack, Kaylee's ex, but who's not really an ex. They just were having a little break. Her mum even says in this interview that, they were planning on getting married. Kaylee just wanted a bit of a break from being boyfriend and girlfriend until they were eventually going to get married. There is a Jake. So there is 3 J's involved. There is a Jack, which I think was the guy in the white with the white hoodie that was at the food truck, if my memory serves me right. But hey, I'm an old fart and don't take my memory for gospel, for God's sake. I've got to try and find a charger.
Oh shit!
My
But on the press conference, they said that all of them were cleared.
Yes, absolutely. God, walking around this house is like, it's so bloody big, I get lost.
You're at your daughter's?
Yeah. You walk down one hallway and you think you're going to the right place and it's not. So you have to walk around the corner and up another hallway.
Thank you, Jen B.
Go past the media room, the kitchen. It's bloody huge.
You should get a little scooter and bring it in there.
I was thinking about it actually. This is a sad visit for me because this will be the last time I will be babysitting the dog. He's got cancer and he's going. They have to put him to sleep next week.
Okay, Kaz, no sad news with the puppy. People in here will flip out.
I know, but it's sad for me because
I know.
This is
So
my last visit.
Am I playing this whole thing, or are we going to a certain timestamp?
Yeah, if you move it along, Iqbal does talk a little bit. Oh God.
We're going to take a look at this too. But the Quinton Simon thing. So the Chatham County Police.
Yeah, move it along from
They
there
say
until
with the
you get
decision of
into.
Kaylee, they're absolutely devastated by the loss of the two young University of Idaho students. The full raw interview. Okay. Things that I wanted to talk about before we watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, this is it. They're just doing a sound check initially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm VASTEVENSON. Gonzalez is my maiden name. I'm married.
My name's Ute, AMI-VUTTZ.
Good?
You guys good? Everybody good? No, I'm here.
Which one?
You.
Oh, there you go. You gotta get it right.
That's her mum that's on screen.
I think we got it
now.
on the pickup. Good. Okay, so just first off, the map that just came out from police, it gives a little bit of a timeline of where they may have picked. Does that map mesh up with the timeline that you've been putting together?
Yeah, I'd say it's very close. I'd say if you have any closer details to kind of hone in, 145 could be very vague. Maybe it's closer to 150. You have anything concrete, because right now concrete's what we can go off.
They're talking about the timeline that was put out, and I've shown you guys multiple times in case you're confused. The timeline that police put out, they're asking about if it's correct.
In terms of the details, you said it's close. Does that frustrate you that it's close?
I do, but right now we're still trusting authorities that, it's not going to be 20 minutes here or 15 minutes here that's breaking this. But yeah, I implore everyone, if they know something different, bring it to the police, because if they want to tighten up that timeline, we stand with that.
It seems like there's this very big gap when it comes to Ethan and Xana. Do you know where they might have been?
I don't, unfortunately. I know nothing about them. We know we have no idea where they were, but we do have a pretty tight timeline on Kaylee and Maddie, and it is close to what they are posting. But
yeah, they were.
So that's really interesting because let me see that part right here real quick. Because where's that map? People were talking about that with this whole thing where there's a gap in time with the party. I thought when I first saw this with Ethan and Xana, I thought it meant between 8 o'clock and 9 p.m. they were at this party, like around that time. But other people have said that they were at this party for an hour between 8 and 9 p.m. And so they're saying that there's a time gap, where were they at between these times and the time that they got back home, which they both parties arrived home around the same time, according to the timeline.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on
police, because if they want to tighten, we stand with that.
It seems like there's this very big gap when it comes to Ethan and Xana. Do you know where they might have been?
I don't, unfortunately. I know nothing about them. We know we have no idea where they were, but we do have a pretty tight timeline on Kaylee and Maddie, and it is close to what they are posting, but it is a difference, and that difference actually could be huge. I mean, it could be, it could not be, but 145, 159. So there is, and we have corroborated with my phone records, Kaylee's phone records, the driver that was driving them around.
Yeah, so you
really
have,
concrete.
You have pulled video seeing the Uber driver dropping them off.
Yes.
You've checked your phone record. Do you know
Yes.
timestamps what time they got home? Yeah. It's not exactly what police are saying, right?
Right. It's not 145. Kaylee and Maddie were picked up from their home at 1122 King around 10:15. It's about a 5-minute drive down. So they arrived to Corner Club around 10:20, which is different than what was released at 10. We know that Kaylee called for an Uber.
That's interesting. They're giving more specific timelines. Yeah, because they do mean between. So it says here 10 to 1:30. Okay, so they're saying 10:15. Kaylee and Maddie arrived at this Corner Club.
Around 10:20, which is different than what was released at 10. We know that Kaylee called for an Uber at 1:45. He arrived at 1:49, got in the car around 1:50. It's about a 5-6 minute drive. They arrived home at 1:56.
Interesting.
Is it frustrating that your timeline is based on timestamps from videos and phone records, and their timeline doesn't exactly match yours?
I just feel like there's a reason they're just putting it out, the estimate. I don't know, because they do have that information from us, and they've asked us where we have gotten that information, and we have concrete backing. She put it together. It could be conflicting stories. We just don't know. This is the information that I stand behind. I think that when they say 1:45, I think they're kind of referring to the whole group arriving approximately 1:45. I believe that maybe Ethan and Xana, and I don't know, may have gotten home around that time. And then the girls obviously 1:59-ish is shortly after. So they're just kind of grouping that the group arrived home around 1:45-ish.
That's good to know, I guess. Because this timeline that was put out by cops, I guess it's estimates. because a lot of people are like, wow, they got home at the exact same time. I guess there's a bit of a difference. 5-10 minutes. I think I said 59. But that is important to know.
But they were not together. And we don't know anything about Ethan and Dana. We do know about Kaylee and Maddie.
And some of the timestamp that that your sister was making calls, right? She was making calls as late as almost 2 o'clock.
Yes.
How do you know that?
So she was on my mom's cell plan. So on Sunday, I was able to pull those cell records.
And you could see that she was calling somebody out.
Yeah.
Does it seem like they may have been involved, or does it seem like
No, not at all. Kaylee had no shame in kind of power calling. So it fits Kaylee.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And we know who she was calling, and this person is, and this person was asleep, unfortunately, was not getting the calls. And it was, I don't know, a few calls for half an hour, she called him, but no, it was not, we do not believe she was calling him for help. We believe that she was just calling him to come over. If
This is important too. So they're talking about the
was asleep, fortunately, was not getting calls. And it was, I don't know, a few calls for half an hour. She called him a couple times, but no, it was not, we do not believe she was calling him for help. We believe that she was just calling him to come over. If Kaylee was in imminent danger, her or your Maddie, they would have called 911. They would not have been calling this person. Yeah.
And that was around 2.
Yeah. So at that time, we believe around 2:30. Yeah, we believe that the girls were just fine.
So from those phone records, it looks like the girls may have been alive around 2:30.
2:30 is what the last call?
No, the last call is shortly before 3 a.m.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. 2:50 something.
2:52.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, lady.
Okay, I hear a bird too.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh,
I went
it's
outside.
fine, Cass.
I've got a crow. What you call a raven?
You're fine.
Sorry.
Yep. No, don't be sorry. What's wrong with hearing a bird? Huh?
Okay, I'll go back inside.
No,
I
the
just wanted
bird
to
is
give my phone a
fine.
bit of a boost.
You can stay there. We like the bird. But now I lost what I was gonna say. Damn bird. Oh shit. Why do you do that to me, Kaz? It is calming. And Jen said it's relaxing. It is. What was I gonna say? Shit.
No, go to the bathroom for that.
You know what, Kaz? Hang on a second.
I'm gonna get in trouble again.
Alive around 2:30.
2:30 is what the last call?
No, the last call.
Okay, I remembered. Okay, so we were talking earlier. I don't know if you heard us, but we were talking about maybe, with the iPhone, the Android, that she was calling the name out Jack for some reason, like maybe saying that was a perpetrator, or I'm not sure. And that the phone was automatically ringing it because they were talking about it, or maybe Alexa was dialing it. But when I listen to these right here, to me, it is that they were trying to call this person.
Yeah, because it's unusual that both her phone and Maddie's phone both called Jack. Kaylee stopped and then Maddie started. So
Absolutely. I agree. Something is Jack local? Was there?
He's just sorry, darling, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, you did. Could it have been at this time? Because I believe if the perpetrator, here's what I believe, and my only thoughts. If the perpetrator came into the house and he knew that there was the boyfriend staying with his girlfriend, and the other two were at the other part of the house. Let's say the couple was on the top floor, the girls were on the middle floor, and the other girls that survived were on the lower floor. So he might have went to the top and took the mail out first. And there's no way that even if they were sleeping, unless he had one knife in one hand and one in the other, and he was stabbing them both simultaneously, somebody has to wake up. So maybe the other girls heard something and they were trying to call Jack, thinking something was crazy going on, and then at that point, maybe he made it to their part of the house.
There's a possibility.
So maybe Jack lives close. Jack, and hi Dia, hi Troy. So maybe they live close. He lives close, and considering it being her on and off taking a break boyfriend, maybe that was the person she was trying to contact, because maybe she did hear something that was. But if that was the case, why didn't you just run like Forrest Gump?
True. Well, Jack actually goes to the same university. He's at Idaho University as well.
So that makes sense why she would be trying to call Jack. But what doesn't make sense to me, unless they were so scared to leave, and they locked their doors. But if they're both trying to call exactly Jen or call 911, were they together in one room, maybe hanging out after coming back, from the food truck? Or were they in separate rooms? That we don't know.
Well, if Kaylee was power calling Jack, let's just say that was the scenario, and they could have been in one room. Because if she couldn't get an answer out of Jack off her phone, utilising Maddie's phone to see if he was just ghosting her, not answering her, and then she thought, okay, I'll try using Maddie's phone to see if he will answer off Maddie's, but of course he didn't.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
Well, it's shortly before 3 a.m. Sure. Yeah, that's like 2:50 something. 2:52. For both of yeah.
It's now been 5 days.
Right.
And still no killer, still no motive. How are you guys holding up?
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone. They obviously are, they're the same people to us, but they were different to all of us. To my mom, it was a daughter. To my aunt, they were nieces. To me, they were sisters. And we all had different, very complex and amazing relationships with both of them. So it's going to feel different. Empty. Yeah, for all of us. Just home. She just left on Friday. She left on Friday morning to go to a Pi-Fi party, and she just bought a brand new Range Rover, and she contemplated all day long back and forth whether she should go home, because she just really wanted to show it to Maddie, and some other friends and whatnot. And she's just like, Mom, I'm going to go.
Okay. I am not being rude when I say this at all. She is 20 years old. There's two 21-year-olds, a 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old, right?
Yeah.
She's driving a Range Rover. Now, it doesn't have to be brand new, but even an older Range Rover costs some money. And she was definitely a beautiful girl in all of her shots. Do you think maybe she had a back page?
Don't know.
Do you think the girls maybe had a back page, something like that?
Wouldn't have a clue.
I don't know why, but I just thought about that because of the fact that she's driving a Range Rover.
Go to the Pi-Fi party, and I'm going to see this. I'm like,
Not that. Wait. I don't want to get slack because some people don't understand my personality. I'm not saying because she's driving a Range Rover that she's making lots of money, and that could be I'm not saying that she's on Backpage because she's driving a Range Rover. I'm saying that Backpage is popular. It doesn't have to be a sexual Backpage. It could be just pictures of her posing and whatever it is she does, because she's a beautiful girl. So let me clarify that before I get attacked in a comment later.
It was really nice. She just bought it that day, all her own. And I talked to the girls on, she had a fun time on Friday night, both of the girls, and then both of them on Saturday.
So you were talking Saturday afternoon? Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Themselves, and Kaylee called me around 2:30ish on Saturday afternoon. And I was down.
Kaz, you see how old I am? Yes, okay, guys. I just rewound the stream. So let me reiterate. Yes, you are correct, Gen X. I meant OnlyFans. Everybody cross out Backpage. I'm sorry. I'm not on OnlyFans. I've never seen it, but I've heard it because I'm watching the OnlyFans girl that killed her boyfriend. But yes, OnlyFans, not Backpage. I think Backpage is where a lot of girls that are ST'd, trafficked, are there. Yes, the OnlyFans page is what I believe. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have these things. But
I didn't even know what Backpage was.
yeah, Backpage is bad. It's pretty bad. I think it's like a online dating type situation. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. Okay, guys. Yes. OnlyFans is what I mean. And it's funny because I never heard a rumor about it at all. And then Gen X is saying that that's a possible rumor.
On Sunday.
And Gen B said
and
that
right
she
about
bought the new car because she just got a dream job offer.
Yeah, okay. Sorry,
And she was supposed to be home on
guys.
Tuesday. She said she'd be home on Tuesday.
Okay, what happened? Oh, Ed wanted to tell you guys happy Thanksgiving.
We were
again.
talking a little bit earlier.
It's like if you watch the video I posted earlier today, she was really just, just because she wanted to show Maddie that vehicle, the new car.
Kaz, look.
And
thanks, Gen X.
In January, she was
I'm an old
moving
fart.
to Texas as well. She was already in the process of moving to Texas, reportedly, and because she had a new job that was supposed to start in February. So,
do you have to
crazy.
be
I don't
an
know. I guess
OnlyFans
that person had
member
really
to
got
go
lucky,
look
I guess,
to
to catch her at this
search
time
the
when she came
OnlyFans
back, I guess,
page?
to wanted to show her friend his
Wouldn't
car.
have a clue.
Whoever did this is still out there.
Yes.
Kaz,
Do you
I
have a
think
message
we
for
should
them?
start an
Turn
OnlyFans
yourself in.
page.
Stop all this. Let us
They
mourn
pay
our
me
guilt.
to
We
close it
can't when we
down.
know this person is out there. Did it? You are. Didn't it? The guilt has got to be just overwhelming. It's got to be sickening. Stop hiding. Stop running. Just turn yourself in. Just turn yourself in so we can move on. We can bury our girls. We can have a celebration of life for them, and continue to mourn and try the best to heal, start the healing process. But we can't with this person just running around out there. This person's dangerous, and we fear that this person will do this again.
Now that he's done it once, he can definitely do it again.
We have no idea why. None. There's no reason why anyone should have been targeted for any reason.
These were young, beautiful children that were starting their lives, and they were successful, and they were go-getters, and they were strong. There's absolutely no reason for jealousy or anything to take for children's lives like this. Turn yourself in. You owe it to these mothers of these children, these fathers, these families. You're wrong. Turn yourself in.
You said something that I've never even thought of, which is it's almost the worst nightmare, which is how do you bury your daughter knowing that they could possibly come?
It's it's going to be the services for these girls will be huge, public, and to think that this person is sitting, there at the church, just I can't.
You're worried that the killer
Yeah.
might show up to their service.
Absolutely, their
It's
candlelight
probably
vigil.
going to be
I
horrendous,
wouldn't be
Mark.
surprised. I thought about that myself. Wouldn't be surprised if people showed up. Or
What,
It would
Kaz?
be. I was just thinking that would be horrendous for the family to be constantly thinking, is the killer here at this memorial service for the girls? Are you here?
Well,
Are you one of the people that's standing here? If they don't know that person, it would be constantly playing on the mind. Is it you? Is it you? Is it you?
oh yeah, I totally agree, but they do that. I mean, I actually watched a couple of documentaries where one person actually carried the casket at the funeral.
Oh my gosh.
We were talking about the mountains earlier, and you weren't here. I'm not sure if you heard, but I told them Kaz and I have watched every mountain climbing movie.
We have.
What mountains? Tell them.
Oh, K2, Everest, oh God.
Kalamazoo, which is
Kalamazoo.
Yep. Denali.
We've
watched them all,
along
guys.
the Alps, Swiss Alps. Anything above 8,000
we have watched them all.
meters. Oh, we've watched them.
Yeah, Kaz and I are definitely going to start working out, and we are planning a trip. We don't want to go up the mountain. We just want to see if we can make it to the base camp.
That'd kill me just getting there.
I'll carry you on. I'm going to get a couple camels for us.
I don't know if it's really possible, but even the morning when, I'm guessing that the roommate had reached. I don't know how it happened that morning because we know the roommates didn't call 911. So, but we know that multiple friends had showed up. I'm assuming that maybe the roommates had called them, or for whatever reason, multiple roommates have showed up. And I was even thinking, what if the killer showed up too? Hey, what's going on? Oh my God! That would be pretty wild. But like, because it had been hours after. So shit, maybe the killer showed up too. I mean, that's kind of a stretch, but I don't know, anything's possible because we've heard of these people, and I've covered stories where the perpetrators are right there at these vigils or at funerals, and they're just watching.
All of that.
Yep.
It makes me sick that this could be there, standing right behind us, waving a little candle. It's sickening, absolutely sickening. We're sick. We're just sick. We just wanted to end. It's a living nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a living nightmare.
Now, in terms of what police have been able to communicate to you, have they been more forthcoming? Are they communicating with you enough?
I think it's an ongoing investigation. I think at the end of the day, I'm not an investigator. Do I want more information? Absolutely.
But we don't know if they have it.
I know that they have
Lynn,
it.
we're going to need parachutes for this
No.
trip.
So of course I'm
I
frustrated.
can on my bum.
But I can't necessarily point that finger direct.
Based on what you've seen so far, are you confident in their investigation?
Yes, Lynn, I do know how to ski. I'm not a professional. I know how to go down the hills and keep it chill. Would I go down a steep one? No. I tend to stick to the bunny slopes, but don't tell anyone.
I just toboggan.
Have to be. Right now, I have to be.
We're counting on.
And it's easy to sit back and say, oh, I would have done this. Oh, I would have done that. But I don't know what they walked into. I don't know what they've done. Are there definitely some things that, I've heard that I wish I hadn't heard about the investigation so far? Absolutely. But right now, I can't. I am frustrated that I don't have more information. But I don't know if they have information that they can give me.
We don't know. We don't know. My husband is in contact with him every day. The FBI, Moscow, Idaho State Police, and every day he just says, "Nothing, babe." And I'm like, "Nothing?" And he's like, "Nothing." I mean, just nothing. And I don't know if that's because they have nothing or because they're protecting the investigation. So, it's hard to be mad at them if, we just know they're protecting the investigation.
I was wondering too, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think that the police are in mind, but they just don't have enough evidence? Or do you believe that police really don't have squat at this point?
We believe they have DNA.
I'm just kind of curious. I was talking with a
I
friend about
believe,
this.
sorry.
And I feel like they don't have much, but then I see other people like on Reddit saying that they think they have more.
I believe they have DNA. I believe that they might have a couple of people of interest, hopefully, but I definitely believe that the DNA is not in Kodak.
It's going to be well. There's no cameras at the house.
You want to talk why he's talking?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, to Jen B, yes, they did do Ethan's funeral.
Yes.
And
one was laid to rest.
Yeah. What bamboozles me is those two survivors. I still can't get it in my head. They said, I mean, I don't know if they said it themselves, I'm just what I've read. I read that they heard a ruckus, a bit of a ruckus.
Where were they
but
at?
They thought it was just them coming, just being silly. But
well, it is a party house, so they're used to. I mean, it's where people go party. They say it.
Yeah, I know, but there's the sound of a party. I've had many in my lifetime, and there's the sound of a struggle. I mean, 4 people 4 people that have been, being killed in that house, it wouldn't just sound like a party. It just, I know they've been cleared, and I know that, but I just wondered, why they didn't. I suppose if they were scared, I suppose I would be scared too. But if I was scared, I'd be ringing 911.
The police said they were not tied or bound. So I think the first one, they were probably sleeping. But regardless, like you said, and I said earlier, or I don't know if you were on panel, but being stabbed and the screaming, I mean, it doesn't, there's no way it sounds like a party.
No way. I mean, when you scream and when you're having fun, it's like a squeal. When you're laughing and carrying on, it's a squeal that you make. When you're being stabbed, I think, I've never heard anybody being stabbed, but I think it would be a piercing scream.
Yes.
Of pain.
I agree.
It just gives you a little bit of hope, and I guess being left without that information.
Because you can't grieve, you can't feel safe.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and if Kaylee and Maddie were down there right now in this situation with somebody else, they would be home. I would have told them, and they, you were.
I have to read this comment. Just think about how disturbed a person has to be to do this to 4 people. This is going to be epic to see the face of someone so evil. A knife, good God. I agree. It was like the epic feeling when we actually saw the face of the alleged bridge guy. Totally agree, Junie.
Now, like yesterday.
Just before you start playing it again, Ma, I watched a retired profile, an FBI profiler, and he gave his thoughts on who he thinks committed these crimes. And he thinks this person who did this has never done this before. It's the first time because, like he said, it's a sloppy murders. He thinks that he or she knew their routine, that they go out at certain times, that they were watching for when they came home, waited a certain amount of time once they got home, like watched for the lights to go off, waited X amount of time after that, knew that they may leave a door unlocked, or they actually knew the code to get in that front door. So they actually may know who that person is. They've been in that house before.
I agree with that somewhat, that they may know the person because of the fact of the interview at the press conference today, where when they asked about a certain individual being when they said it was a targeted attack.
Yeah.
So that to me sounds like maybe one had more attention put on that one person. But I also believe, and after this I'm going to play it, see how long people last with it, but I don't know. I pray to God that this is not going to be a serial killer. Because if you want to go after one, I mean, when you think about it, the 3 girls were friends, and then the girl had the boyfriend. So what was it about all 4 of them, but only one was supposedly
the target?
Yeah, something with that doesn't. I don't understand why all 4 had to go with that with one target.
Yeah, I don't think it was only one target. I don't think so either.
I don't either. That's why after this, I'm gonna play a documentary, but I'm gonna put it on probably 1.5 because I don't know. My gut's telling me something different on this one.
So, to families, I mean, I think it's Thanksgiving is coming up and most kids are coming home, but there's no way. And there's no way that I would send them back until this person is found. This person is an isolated, targeted,
And
until
we'll
it's
just
not.
watch it until they finish
The person
talking.
was angry.
Actually, we really don't have to listen to that. We've got the timeline.
Yeah, I was just going to say you don't need to listen to any more of this because they're just going over about their feelings.
So basically, so that kind of tells me that there's no way that the phone was going off of Alexa or automatic calling from both phones. They were definitely calling Jack.
Yes.
But if it was calling Jack out of panic or something like that, why wouldn't they have called 911?
Exactly. That's why I don't think it was out of panic. I think, like her sister said, she was power calling Jack. She's got a few, shotties under her belt, and she felt like calling Jack. Power
Jen.
calling. That's sweet.
Look at what Jen said. I wanted to let you know that I'm thankful for our friendship. And you're right. We've known one another for years now. You've shown kindness and compassion, and I'm honored to be your friend. Jen, thank you. I'm honored to be your friend too.
Yeah. She's a good friend. She really is. She doesn't she doesn't like everybody to know she's really a softie, but she is.
How do I come off as I'm hard?
I don't know. Sometimes your voice does come off as hard.
No.
You do.
That's because I'm from the Northeast. I've got that little cockiness to me. Sometimes I honestly think I should have been born a male. I'm serious. I've got that guy attitude.
She's got the guy attitude.
Sorry,
you
guys.
too, Junie. Everybody in here is absolutely amazing. You all are. And I personally, from Australia, even though I don't have Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for you all. I mean,
I am too.
You all are truly awesome.
I am too. So let's stick around and watch a documentary on Danny Rollins. Because I am going to have to pray. But my parents, I've said it, I hate repeating myself like a bird, but I grew up in the Northeast and South Florida. I graduated high school in Fort Lauderdale. So my younger years stomping grounds was Miami, South Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood Beach, Naples, the West Coast, like the whole southern part of Florida. But then my family is all from Boston, Maine, New Hampshire. So I've always gone back and forth. But now I've decided to retire. My living are back and forth in Maine. So I know this case. And my my parents had property in Gainesville. And you guys that know this story, remember, after the first college kids were killed, we had the media like we had now, but this crazy Lana, you're in Fort Lauderdale?
No, Fort Lickerdale.
That's what they called it. That's why I'm
Oh,
asking. She's from Fort Lauderdale.
That's so funny.
I just had, because I still have all of my friends that I went to middle school with, and like the age progression pictures of us going to concerts and stuff. And yeah, we we definitely had a fun time in Fort Lickerdale. We just had a 20-year reunion of all getting together who we went to school with at the Elbow Room.
Oh, crikey.
I used to go to the candy store. I remember going to the Nepenthe nightclub. It was like you couldn't be over 18, but I think you had to be over 15 or or 16. I have a lot of family in North Lauderdale, Sunrise. Actually, my oldest is in the North Lauderdale area. And my son used to live in Pompano. Now he is in Tennessee. Okay, yes. We are going to watch a documentary on Danny Rollins. Are you ready, Kaz?
I'm ever ready.
Let's watch it.
Okay.
I'll go to 1.25. It's 40 minutes long. But
I don't know if
I
my
don't know.
butt is ready, but I'm ready.
Well, you can get up and go. We want to hear the birds too. And
No, he flew away.
I'm praying that this is somebody they knew. I'm praying. But I'm also praying that we are not going to have another Danny Rollins or Ted Bundy on our hands.
Oh, God.
But I just feel like I don't know. Let's relive this nightmare.
Jesus, I want to be.
You sick bastard.
And is a he claims the devil makes him do it.
I can't even fathom him now. And suffering I've caused people, man. And I get off of myself, and it weighs pretty heavy on me. I can't change it. I could, I would. I'm stuck with what I got.
His 5 victims, 4 women and 1 man, are found over a 3-day period. All are stabbed to death. The women are petite brunettes. 3 are sexually assaulted, some horribly mutilated. They are students.
His face just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Okay. What happened? She ran away. She can't seem watching it.
No, I was letting you finish. So so another thing that stood out to me and why I wanted to watch this, and I'm not going to stop a lot on this, but what is the similarity and what stands out to you between these pictures right here in the Idaho 4?
Well, they're all very pretty, good looking. They were at universities. No? They're stabbed.
No.
What?
What is the one thing that stands out regarding these 5 and those 4? How many? You guys do not see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Thank
3
you,
women,
Lana.
3 women, 1 male.
So we've got all girls and 1 male in the Danny Rollins in the Idaho 4. It's probably just a coincidence. I really don't believe in coincidences, but this one I might. But yeah, I just found it a little bizarre.
At the University of
But this is my spidey sense talking to me.
Florida, with no connection to each other. The Florida city of Gainesville is in turmoil. Then the killing
Be
stops.
right back,
But the
guys.
fear
Little girls
is
room.
just beginning.
Very nervous. It's scared. The thing is, in my apartment, we have the 4 girls. All 4 of us are brown hair, petite girls. All 4 of us have moved out of our apartment and are living with my roommate's parents in Ocala.
By Wednesday, Gainesville's in pretty much a state of panic. You couldn't walk around Southwest Gainesville without being stopped and questioned as to your activities, where you were going, and what you were doing.
Special Agent Ed Dix joins the investigation the day after the last 2 bodies are found. It is the first week of class.
The kids
Must
naturally
have
are
been
out doing other
harrowing.
things, and parents couldn't find them. So parents are either calling the police or they're coming up here. The news is feeding the
Kaz,
frenzy.
I'm going to go to the
trying
little
report
girls' room.
everything
Just
that's
say
known.
something like
And
every
Gainesville is
10,
just
5,
turning into
15
a
seconds so that we
As the
don't
American
stop
Labor
the
Day
stream.
holiday
Okay.
starts, hundreds of students flee Gainesville, some for the long weekend, some for the rest of term.
School is hard enough to think about all the classes you have to take and to have to worry about some maniac at the same time. It's just too much.
My mom called me this morning, told me to come home now.
And I'm hoping that they discover who's doing this.
And those days you couldn't do remote learning like they can now.
We did not know who was doing the killings. And so we try to get the word out that this is happening. You need to be very careful. Lock your doors, stay inside. Let's not venture out this week for parties.
Those who stay are not in the party.
Sad.
Krista Hoyt, Sonia Larson, Tracy Paulus.
Hundreds
What a
attend a
waste
memorial
of
service for the
lives.
victims as they try to come to terms with what has happened. Others express their
That's
grief
sad.
on a wall near the campus. The University of Florida does not cancel classes. Instead, security is increased with 24-hour police escort services and police whistles for students.
And so that's going to deter
The
anybody,
students
really.
who remain stay together in groups, arming themselves in case the killer comes back.
My fiance and his friends are all staying at my place.
If the killer has been quick, the police respond with equal speed.
By the end of that afternoon, which is Monday, the day we found our third victim, we had already established a task force. And we were dividing investigators up into teams, doing neighborhood searches, doing actual interviews of all the residences around the victim's apartments.
While the first two killings are in the Gainesville Police Department's jurisdiction, the third, fourth, and fifth are in the county sheriff's area. To contain the
So
panic,
he
the
went
sheriff's
to
men and
two
the police
different
brief the
counties.
media, students, and residents as the investigation progresses.
The murder was found in Ocala? No, that's incorrect.
Part of this effort is a rumor hotline to check which is true or false.
Met all units in the parking lots of the apartment complexes. We had
Yeah, Lila Breeze, it was so unfair.
Throw a stone and not hit 4 or 5 police officers. That's exactly what we wanted to.
Instead of going and getting help for his mental disease,
bring in a police
he
presence
takes the lives of
so
5
that
innocent young
it
adults.
could not continue, so that if this person is still out there preying on people, that we would hopefully catch him.
2 weeks after the discovery of the bodies, police search for evidence in the woods around Gainesville. They look for anything the killer may have left behind. Even ponds are drained as investigators search for clues.
The actual
Yeah, Jennifer, that's the first time I've heard of a rumor
would be the
hotline
entire
before.
Gainesville Police Department, the Alachua Sheriff's Office, University Police Department, the 40 to 50 troopers that were brought in each week, the 100+ FDLE
Normally,
agents that were here,
law
primarily as
enforcement
investigators,
don't
but
like
they were on the
rumors.
street asking questions and following leads, so they were out and about for the woods searches, the searches of areas looking just for anything that might lead to the suspect.
None of this activity comforts the victims' families. As the news comes in, they are
Yeah,
devastated.
you're right, Ma. He did.
Oh,
He
Sonia
did.
was
I've
a
forgotten about that.
light. She was every mother's wish for a child. Bright in school, great
I can't
grades.
remember, Lynn,
Didn't have to tell her to study.
where he was.
Sonia
where they
Larson had
were.
gone to Gainesville to study education.
She had worked summers at the church nursery in the daycare center, and just found out she loved being around the little children.
Pretty girl.
So she decided she wanted to have her own daycare center.
Sonia had been accepted at a school close to home, but her parents wanted her to go away to the University of Florida.
She was 18, and she was getting an apartment with a girl that she had met in summer, and they really hit it off. They were kindred spirits.
Ada Larson had gone with the girls to look for an apartment.
I actually wanted them to pick a different one, but I let them choose. The other one, I think, had a little bit better security.
At around 3 in the morning,
Always
on the
listen to your
20th
mum.
August, a killer wearing a ski mask and armed with a knife goes to the Williamsburg apartments, where he breaks into the back door of apartment 113. Upstairs, Sonia Larson is sleeping. The killer stabs her 15 times as she tries to defend herself. She is dead
Oh my
within a
goodness.
minute. Next, he goes
15
downstairs
horrid
where Christina
times.
Powell sleeps on the couch. He tapes her hands and cuts her clothes off. He then rapes and sodomizes her before stabbing her 5 times in the back. She is conscious
my
for a few
goodness.
moments before she dies. The killer mutilates Christina's body and then cleans it with dishwashing liquid. Then he
Oh
arranges
my
the two
goodness.
bodies in a pose. On Sunday night, the police call Sonia's mother.
I was just having a fit. I was just
Oh,
screaming.
I couldn't possibly
No, it can't be.
comprehend
That's
getting
all
a phone call
right.
like that.
Yelling. My husband didn't know if I was going to be able to make it because he knew how close Sonia and I were. I mean, we were.
Yeah, Ma, trigger
She just meant
warning.
everything to me, and he just didn't know if I was going to make it.
They immediately decide to go to Gainesville.
And on my way to Gainesville, I told him to stop the car. So he pulled off at an exit. I just got out of the car and I looked up at the heavens and the stars were just beaming so brightly. And I said, God, how can you, who are in control of everything, allow this to happen, you know?
She was highly intelligent, always intelligent from the time she was born.
Ponnet. What the heck is
Always wanted to
Ponnet,
know
Ma?
questions and answers.
Krista was a bubbly type person, is how I would describe her. She was always happy. She enjoyed life. She enjoyed doing anything and everything, all kinds of organizations that she could get involved in.
One of these organizations is the Explorers, a training
Pause it.
program
I
for the
can't
Sheriff's
pause
Department.
it. Pin it.
Krista Hoyt, once a
I
career in
can't
law
do that
enforcement,
either, darling.
works a night shift clerk for the sheriff.
I've got no control at all.
When she fails to arrive for work, a deputy from the sheriff's office goes to check on her. It is 9 hours
I
after
think
police
she's
discover
gone
the
to
first two
Jamaica,
bodies.
Lana, to use the bathroom.
The killer has broken into her apartment. Her hands and mouth have been bound with insulating tape. The killer has cut off her clothing, raped her, and stabbed her in the back. Krista Hoyt dies quickly, but the carnage doesn't stop.
I got it.
The killer leaves the apartment. But realizing he's dropped his wallet, goes back to look for it. And then he decapitates Krista Hoyt and poses her body. Anne Garrett is Krista Hoyt's mother.
I feel like if maybe been there.
I mean, oh yeah.
Oh,
And
my
not only
godfather.
that, but it's where he puts her head. Horrible. But I hate to say this, and I will not look at the crime scene photos. Kaz will tell you I can't even
No.
look at a dead bug. But I wonder if one of these individuals on the Idaho 4 were posed, as well as maybe spending a little more time. You know what I mean?
Well, at least we know there was no SA. That's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, law enforcement haven't given out very much information in regards to the investigation as it is. Could they have posed? Maybe, but they just haven't given out that kind of information. Yeah, I agree, Lana. There are a few similarities between Danny Rowling and the Idaho 4 maniac. I agree. He used a similar knife, but at least there was 3 girls and a male that he attacked, but they didn't live in the same apartment, and there was definitely no SA. And as far as we know, there was no posing and no decapitations and things like that. I'm sure the family would have said something because the bodies have already been released back. So, as per the press conference.
Yes, but some things cannot be said because that would be something that only the killer would know.
It's horrendous.
But there's just a lot, and I'm praying that this is not the case. But and we don't know if they were posed, because if it was a person that knew them and went in and maybe posed a girl or one of the blondes, the pretty girls, but then why touch the couple that's in the other room? If it's something about it being somebody that knew them, to me, is I just don't believe that it was somebody that knew them. It could have been a stalker, but for all 4 that were in different rooms, it's just, I feel like it's going to end up being something like this, unfortunately. And I don't get feelings on a lot of cases, like I've said, but when I do get a feeling, like with Brian Laundrie, I called it day 1. Kayla Montgomery, I called it day 1. And a few of them, when I call it, I seem to be right. Maybe I am a sorceress.
You wish.
I would. She was everything beyond. Both of them.
litigation.
Old I was
But
by
nothing
a man
prepares
in
her for when
New
the police come
My
to the
turn
restaurant
to use the
where she works.
bathroom now.
And I thought maybe she was ill.
I'm
or
going to
been in a
find
wreck.
it.
And he said, no, it was homicide, and I couldn't even figure out what that meant. At
You
the
need
time.
to
It
make a
was like
map.
a foreign word.
But it is one
Find
that
the
Krista's father and
bathroom.
stepmother, Diana, understand perfectly.
And my husband pretty much kept saying to them, just tell me she died right away. That's all I want to know, is that she died right away.
But there is more to come. Early in the morning on the 12th of August, the killer stalks his house. He watches Tracy Paulus through her bed window at the Gatorwood Apartments. Tracy Paulus is a political...
See? Not only he was also watching through the windows. The person, Lilac, the person had to know door code and knew the house floor plan. I don't believe that. I believe that person knew the floor plan through the window maybe, but remember, the door key opened the front, but the back sliding glass door was usually always opened.
Political science graduate. Her roommate, Manuel Tuda, wants to be an architect. Manuel and Tracy have been friends since high school.
These are the kids that, you know, the most popular kids in their class, in their school. This is what every parent hopes that their children would turn out to be.
In the summer of 1990, Manuel's roommate moves out and Tracy moves in. That summer, Manuel loses weight, and at a muscular 6'2", he is strong and fit. At around 3 in the morning, the killer breaks in. Manuel is asleep in his bed. He wakes up fighting, trying to give Tracy time to get out of the apartment. In a fight to the death, he is stabbed 31 times. Investigators say Tracy Paulus hears the noise and comes out of her room where she sees the killer. She knows what is going to happen next.
Okay, right there. That totally is my exact thoughts. When they're sleeping in different rooms, he gets to him, he fights him off for a little bit, tries to give the girl a chance to get out, but he still managed to get both of them with a knife, and they weren't tied up or anything. So at this point, if the other one is doing what this girl did and screaming and making a scene and probably screeching, like what Kaz said, was the music so loud that the other roommates didn't hear them? Hey, Troy. I don't know why, but I literally had a dream the other night when I was, and for some reason, Danny Rollins came into it with this whole entire situation of how the similarities are just there.
You're the one, aren't you? She asks. Yes, the killer answers. I'm the one.
Obviously, Kaz got lost. See, we're not only a fun, crazy little channel and talk about, we like to watch documentaries too. I know we're nerds. Well, I'm a nerd. A pothead nerd.
She is bound with insulating tape, sodomized, and stabbed 3 times in the back. It is several minutes before she bleeds to death.
My gosh.
Then the killer has sex with her again.
Mario
Mario Taboda is driving in his car when he hears the news.
The first person who they mentioned was Tracy, and that I don't think they said. I don't recall them actually saying the name. I think it was more describing as a cheerleader, and maybe towards the end they said the name.
Absolutely,
and,
Jen.
I knew what was coming next. I mean, I just knew it.
We were still up there when they found Krista. And then on our way home, they found Tracy and Manny. And we heard it on the radio on the way home. I mean, it was just a nightmare.
We're talking about a man with a tremendous intellect. He has a detailed knowledge of anatomy, electronics. He's a hacker.
God knows what else he can do.
He craves, he depends on new challenges, puzzles. He probably killed for the first time just to see if he could get away with it. And then he began needing greater and greater levels of difficulty.
This is the way serial killers get described on television and the movies, but in real life, they are more often the quiet type who blend into the crowd.
Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer. John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer. David Berkowitz was a serial killer, and there are many others. At any given time in this country, we have between 30 and 50 serial killers on the loose.
John Douglas is the ex-head of the FBI's Investigative Support Unit and a pioneer in the field of criminal profiling. He's called to Gainesville to help find the killer.
Serial killers, by and large, are more times than not, they're going to be white males. They're going to be perpetrating crimes in their own race. They're going to commit their first violent crime somewhere around their mid-20s. They're going to be above average in intelligence, but they're going to be low achievers.
The first signs usually appear early: bedwetting, cruelty to animals, and starting fires. Then they move on to people.
Many of these characters will start off as peeping Toms. Then it gets a little bit more courageous on their part. They now will break into a place looking through a potential victim's garments, or the next level is to go in and to...
Wow.
And then they go on with the thing, and then...
I think they need to look into people that maybe hurt animals when they were children, or any fire situations. And let's not forget that stabbing with the 2 people in Idaho in this area, where the stabber was never caught and one of the victims lived. And they got a new lead or something he mentioned in the press conference. But I wonder that the person that lived, if they saw the person, or if the person was dressed like when the Golden State Killer used to pop into people's houses.
I'm going to have to love you and leave you soon, sweetheart. My data's just about ready to cock itself.
Your what?
My data on my phone. I've just got the warning I have. It says, you have very little data left.
Okay, well, go. Your daughter doesn't have Wi-Fi?
Not yet. Not yet. She hasn't had it set up yet. Otherwise, I'd be on a Wi-Fi for sure. It's coming next week. It's a brand new house, so.
I know. All right, baby.
All right. So, thanks for having me up again. I wasn't expecting to be up here tonight.
Well, you're my co-host.
I know, darling. I know, but I wasn't expecting I was going to be all alone with my pooch.
Hi, Shredder.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's very interesting what this man just said. I think I just learned something. Bye, baby. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. You might not be able to get hold of me until I get back home, because I won't have any data. I'll ring you when I get back home.
All right, babe.
All right. Love to all.
Bye.
Bye, Z's.
I'm going to ask to murder.
In criminal profiling, using a knife has special meaning.
It tells you that the subject wants to get really up close, wants to really see it firsthand, the pain and suffering that he's dishing out to the victim.
It is while police are talking to students at the final crime scene, they get their first lead.
One person that came to our attention very quickly was a young man named Edward Humphrey, who allegedly had been telling waitresses in restaurants where he went that certain details of the crime scenes that had not been telecast or broadcast, we had not put out to the media.
Edward Humphrey, an 18-year-old University of Florida student, lives at the Gatorwood Apartments near Tracy Paulus and Manuel Taboda. Scarred in a car crash years earlier, Humphrey isn't liked by the students.
The strange acting person, keeps to himself a lot. Looks like he's been through a lot. Looks like he's got a lot of emotional problems.
They started talking about his liking of knives, that he would go out late at night or early in the morning carrying a large knife. He'd be dressed in camouflage. Many times he put a bandana on, and he would tell him he was going out on recon. He would come back in the very early hours of the morning, really dirty, sometimes scratched up from the bushes and all.
According to investigators, Humphrey is a manic depressive who's being treated with the drug lithium. But he'd stopped taking his medication at the time of the killings. This causes erratic mood swings. In what seems to be one of the most damning pieces of information against him, Humphrey apparently has a history of violence against women. 2 days after the last bodies are discovered, he is arrested and charged with assaulting his grandmother. But while Humphrey remains the prime suspect in the killings, he isn't the only one. The murder task force get a call from a detective in Louisiana where they have 3 unsolved murders, strangely similar to the ones in Gainesville. In the Louisiana killings, the victims are Julie Grissom, her father Tom Grissom, and her 8-year-old nephew Sean. Police believe that Julie Grissom, a 24-year-old nurse, is the primary target of the attack. She's been bound, raped, and stabbed. 2 days later, the Louisiana murders are brought to the attention of the Murder Task Force the second time by VICAP, the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program.
It's a computer system for violent crimes nationwide, and if they're not solved, they'll put their modus operandi, the MO of the crime. And I found Shreveport, Louisiana. Julie Grissom had been murdered there in 1989, and it matched perfectly the Sonia Larson situation, that victim in the first crime. And
Absolutely
so I was convinced
crazy.
from that point on that we already had a relationship.
Although police can place the scarred Ed Humphrey in Gainesville at the time of the first crime, they cannot connect him.
Which Shredder? Shredder, you want to come up? I mean, honestly, and I'm not saying, but are the similarities absolutely crazy? Because remember, the police may be telling us one thing about the crime scene at the Idaho 4, but they might not really be telling us everything, which I doubt they are. Why does there always have to be collateral damage? I don't know. I do not know.
To the second or third murders. But there is an even bigger problem with the man that looks like the perfect suspect. The killer left semen at the crime scenes, and from this, police the killer has type B blood. Ed Humphrey's blood type is A. Police handled close to 7,000 calls as the investigation continues. Among them, another call from the police in Louisiana. They have received a call from a woman living on the border with Texas who sees a news report about the arrest of a man in Ocala, Florida, for armed robbery.
I would.
The suspect is from the scene of a triple murder with similarities to the Gainesville killings.
Well, only about 30 miles away in Ocala, we found an individual in jail there that's from Shreveport, Louisiana. His name was Danny Rowling, and he voluntarily gave us blood and pubic hair.
Danny Rowling, a 36-year-old drifter and career criminal, has a string of convictions across the southern states. He is also wanted in Louisiana for the shooting of his father, a retired police officer, just 3 months before the killings in Gainesville.
And so they started the DNA profile. And I believe it's like the middle of January, the first probe of DNA comes back, and it's a match to Danny as well, which then everything shifts to Danny Rowling as a suspect.
Danny Harold Rowling is now the primary suspect in the serial killings. His DNA matches that found at the crime scenes. By June 1992, Rowling is in prison awaiting trial on armed robbery charges when he's finally charged with the murders. He pleads not guilty. The state attorney's office sends 3 detectives to interview him. In the recorded interview, Rowling brings in another inmate called Bobby Lewis.
Father is my mouthpiece. He is my confessor. I confess to him. He will speak to you.
Rowling agrees to be interviewed using.
This was absolutely one of the weirdest interviews that I ever saw. I think I saw it when I watched the trial, but just bizarre.
His friend Lewis as a mouthpiece.
August 26th, 1990, at the Williamsburg Apartments in Gainesville, Florida, there were 2 female victims killed. Was Danny Rowling responsible for these homicides? Yes, he was.
Several days later, the detectives meet with Rowling and Lewis again. This time, the interview is videotaped. Rowling tells the detectives that he has several personalities that inhabit his body. As well as Danny, there is a personality named Enad, who rapes and robs, and Gemini, the evil spirit who kills. Rowling says the motive for the killings is his previous imprisonment at the Mississippi State Penitentiary, where he claims to have been forced to live in substandard conditions.
My cell got flooded out once and twice a day with raw sewage. Not every day, 2-3 times a week. I begged him to let me out of that cell. It was like about that deep, about like maybe three inches of raw sewage. You ever tried to eat your supper in raw sewage? That's when I went ahead and swung the door wide to my mind, to the force that I call Gemini, which is a demon.
Rowling vows revenge on the society he says allowed him to be abused. One for each of the 8 years he's been locked up. This accounts for the unsolved killings of the Grissom family. Police uncover enough evidence in their investigation to convince them that the killer is Danny Rowling. So much so that the case for all practical purposes is considered closed. The 3 Louisiana killings plus the 5 in Gainesville, Florida, equal the 8 years Rowling has been imprisoned. Rowling never confessed to the Louisiana killings, but in a statement he reads to an Orlando television station in February 1993, he repeats his earlier wish to help the police with the Gainesville murders.
Any and all parties involved in the investigation underway concerning the Gainesville murders have been and will be dealt with in an honorable fashion. The wheels of justice may turn slow, but they do turn. You don't ask of justice, it asks of you.
By September 1993, Danny Rowling is back in court for a hearing on an armed robbery he committed after the killings.
This is police court. Could I address the court? Sure, say whatever you want to say. Thank you.
Because he's also charged with the gains, the media is there. Among those in attendance is Rowling's fiancée, crime writer Sandra London. They've become engaged while writing a book on the killings.
I recall the day I first saw you. I reached out to say I love you.
In February 1994, Rowling finally goes on trial for the Gainesville killings. He's already serving 5 life sentences plus 270 years for a series of burglaries and armed robberies. On the first day of the trial, to everyone's surprise, Danny Rowling pleads guilty to the murders of 5 students at the University of Florida.
I've been running from first one thing and then another all my life, whether from problems at home or with the law or from myself. There are some things that you just can't run from, and this being...
He is such a creeper.
We tried to counsel him that his chances of prolonging his own life were better if he went to the jury trial than if he entered the plea of guilty. But he did not seem to be overly concerned about that.
All right. I just wanted to see the similarities in the beginning. It's just weird to me, the similarities. And then I started looking for peeping Toms. And then I'm going to end it after this. But let me see one thing real quick. Okay, so Brigton, one sec, guys. Turning into a pumpkin. Hmm. Okay, I found it. So this man's peeping around not far from the university. And this was in August 31st, 2020. Cameron Pepper, 23. He's a peeping Tom. And then there's another one that was a peeping Tom around the campus. Yeah, they got to look into the peeping Toms. Crazy people, guys. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to be working on the Facebook thing all day. And I'll let all of you members know and send a link out in the Discord members chat so we can get started. I honestly, and what about, real quick, 1 second. Okay, there were two people. You know what? Let me pull up something real quick. Let me pull up Monsters Under the Bed. Because, was it him that talked about it? I think it was. Let me see if it was. Yeah, maybe it was a live. Thought it was an upload. Somebody put a video out regarding an old stabbing. I can't seem to find it. There were two people stabbed in Moscow. But now, because of the Idaho 4, when you search it, there's one lived. Everything comes up with the Idaho 4. I'll have to go back and find it. Yeah. Have you guys heard that? The chief of police was talking about it. And he actually said, too, that he got a clue or an update on that case earlier. I'll have to look into it. All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming in. Keep your babies safe. And stay vigilant, guys.